Hey everybody, welcome back.
TGIF, here we are, ready for this thing to pop off.
This is the third attempt. Is it going to happen?
I don't know, is it?
I've been doing like probability reports on this thing for
Of course you have.
all day long.
I mean, I'm here for it, I appreciate it, so I knew if I had to run in or not.
Yeah, and I started out looking at this and saying that, the probability is probably like 75%. And then I saw the weather just kind of not being very, let's say, helpful. And I just kept lowering it and lowering it. I'm going to say a probability of this thing launching is about maybe 40% as of right now, which is a little bit low. Lower than I would normally
I feel like
state.
the skies looked gray a minute ago, but now they look they're blue.
Exactly. So. Right now it looks absolutely fantastic in Texas. So we'll see what ends up happening. I'm ready for it. Once again, this is attempt number 3. Let's hope this all works out. So number 1, let us know how the audio is, because I know
loud. I speak lower than Joe, so I will try to raise my voice.
Yeah, you raise your voice and I will lower mine. I'm giving it a little bit more push here, so you should be able to hear us well, hopefully. If it's a little bit low, just let us know. Shannon with the free gifted members.
Nice. Thanks, Shannon.
If you got a free gifted member, if you got that free gifted membership, please say thank you to Shannon. I know Shannon is traveling right now, and he's probably on here watching, like on his phone or something. It's just crazy.
Wait, is he not supposed to be here? Like,
well,
is he on vacay?
He's on vacay. He is traveling. He's going to be getting on a plane, I think, soon. But that's the last time. That's the last thing I heard. So, anyways, who's here? Say
really
hello to
quick,
everybody. If you're new, please put something in the chat so we can recognize you at the beginning of the show.
Yes, and make sure that you put at JCristina so it highlights and I can see the question better.
Yeah.
If you received a gifted membership from Shannon, please just reach out and say thank you. And I see that Jerry Donovan is here from the Pacific Northwest, going places. 1, third time's the charm. Audio is good. Ice-T Dakotan, I got it.
Excellent.
A Maine-made homesteader is here. WS Tulsi 1, hi everyone. I'm Michael Muse, of course Shannon, Shadow, and Fragile NM. How are you doing?
Everyone's here.
Everyone's here. Everybody's just checking out the weather.
Like I said, if you're new, definitely say hello in the chat so we can recognize you and say what's up. I'm hoping that this actually pops off, because the last time we were here for like 3 hours, 2-3 hours or something like that.
When it went off?
Yeah, or when it didn't go off, when it's supposed to have went off. We were here for a bit.
Yeah.
So, this time, because it is Friday, so normally we would do Free Speech Friday today. But
this is going to be it, right?
If this actually blasts off, we're not going to be on for the 8:30 show like we normally are. This will be our 8:30 show.
I mean, you could
early.
be, if you want to stay here. Fab will pass out.
There's only so much I can do, Fab. So we'll see. If for some reason this gets called because of weather or some type of anomaly with the ship or with software or some crazy ass stuff, well, then at 8:30 I will be here.
Oh, hello to Manny in Germany, 646 Dentist.
Sweet.
JCristina, my wife and I love you guys from New York City. Well, thanks for watching and hanging out with us. That is awesome.
Yes, thanks for being here.
I'll say hi to your wife. Happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday, people. TGIF. I can't believe it. A whole week has gone by. It's been a busy one. Even though I haven't got a lot of videos out this week, it's just been nuts for me. I've been putting a lot of effort, a lot of time into the Truth Engine, my AI. And, well, it's been a lot. I've been creating like this new deal with this AI that's going to just make it even better. So definitely, if you've already picked up the Truth Engine, since it is a living book, you're going to get this update for free. So right now we're on version 3.0. 3.1 should be coming out this next week coming up. Hang tight for that, because it gives you some fixes that broke when they released the latest version of Open Web UI. So keep that in the back of your mind. It's a very simple fix, but you need to do it.
I just want to say a quick hi to our kids, Nini and Pap. You can see you. They're gonna be like, what?
Hey, little people. Yeah, so this should be exciting.
I need one of these. Can you please open it?
You want me to open it? So don't drink this, kids. This is not good for you.
Yeah.
So the last time everything was going pretty well, and then what ended up happening is the booster didn't do too well. It didn't ignite. I think it was, what was it, like 5 out of the 33 engines didn't light, which wasn't good. And remember, these are the new Raptor 3 engines that look like futuristic Star Trek kind of stuff. So no more plumbing on the outside. It's all baked in on the inside because it's actually, a lot of it is printed. Imagine printing with metal. It's just crazy. But anyways, what ended up happening with the booster the last time is instead of it flipping and being oriented coming in at about a 20-degree angle, which would be perfect, right? Like kind of belly flopping in.
Right.
It ended up passing that 20 degrees and going down to about 60, 70 degrees, almost like 90, almost like straight at the Earth. Not good. So all of that propellant, the liquid oxygen and liquid methane, ended up flowing all the way to the front. You know, you have, of course, your engines in the aft end, and they're not getting fuel very well. So some of them didn't relight. It was not a good thing. So now they're working on that so it flips and doesn't just flip crazy. It actually flips and hits that 20 degrees where it should be, proper inclination coming back in. I think that's going to help out a lot. Also, they did some work on the software to be able to kind of dial things in for relight. They did some hardware things. I just have a funny feeling, and now don't quote me because, you know, I don't work for these people. I have a funny feeling that the Raptor 3 engine is going to have some internal reworkings and tooling done. I have a feeling there's certain things that are just not right with it as of right now, and I think they're going to have to replumb the inside a little bit. I think there's just something's not right. Maybe it's getting too cold. You know, there's chilling problems. There's just issues going on with it. So we'll see. You know, I'm just speculating here, right? Because that's what I do. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm not. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. But this is, you know, this flight is going to be a very interesting one. And we've been waiting for this for quite some time.
Man, I hope it goes off.
I hope so. And the main reason is not because of the ship. It's not because of the booster. You know, that's all cool. I would love to see it catch. They're not going to do that. They're going to land it in the Gulf. I would love to see that. That would be awesome. But it's not going to happen now. It's a new ship, okay, which is, I get it. I get it. That's fine. But what really interests me is those 20 SpaceX Starlink version 3 satellites they're going to be releasing in orbit. And 6 of those satellites are going to have high definition cameras on board, including like heat cameras and about a bunch of other stuff. But the main thing for me is those high definition cameras. So we'll be able to see the exterior of the Starship from the satellites that are being ejected from that Pez dispenser. When that door slides open and it just starts launching out those satellites, 6 of them are going to have those cameras pointing back at the ship. And now the ship also has white tile on it. It looks like there's duds or missing tile, but they're not. They're deliberately painted in bright white. And the reason being is when you have a black bottom of the ship and you have a black background of space, well, the cameras don't know what to autofocus on, and they just sit there and they just lose their mind. So by putting those dots on the belly of the ship, well, that's going to allow the cameras to autofocus onto those tiles, and we'll be able to see what's going on. So it's just smart, right? This is what a photographer thinks of. So anyways, this is going to be exciting for me because I want to see those pictures. I want to see what it looks like. I'll get into the SpaceX Starlink version 3 satellites in a little bit, but before I do, let's get back into the chat. If you have any questions, put @JCristina in the chat, @JCristina. It pops up in orange on our side, and we can definitely see them a lot easier. If you're just talking amongst each other, that's fine. But if you want to just send something directly to us, a question, put that @JCristina.
Yeah,
So,
I'm just saying hi.
Peter Gosling is in the
Oh my
house.
God.
Look at that.
I missed
5
that,
gifted
Peter.
memberships.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank
Happy
you, Peter.
Friday.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much for that. Let me see here. Let me see. Once again, if you are new or if you're old, say hello in the chat so we can say hello to you. Who do we got here? Do you want to say hello to people here? We have
Yeah.
Iced Tea.
I said hello to Ice Tea.
You did? Okay.
I did. You missed it. U2 Boons is in the house from New Zealand. Morning. Dave,
Good morning.
5605, how are you? And Frank De Silva from Milan, Italy is here.
Nice. We got Germany. We got Milan.
Yeah, John Diamond, 2962. Hello from Belfair, Washington. Love Starlink and can't wait for this version to get into space and make our Starlink even better.
Absolutely.
John K. Wolf in Texas. Good afternoon from
John.
hot Texas. Think for the rain. You shipped us last night. Did it shift from our house to yours? Yeah, I mean, we will probably get more rain tonight here. It's been raining a lot, John.
It has been so damn
and
hot.
hot and humid, like an
the
oven.
humidity is like...
The Ordway, aloha from Maine. How are you?
How are
Maine
you doing?
Woods. And Dave Magaha, 3088 from East Tennessee in the house.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Speaking about the SpaceX Starlink version 3s that a lot of people are talking about, and I've been saying that as soon as those SpaceX Starlink version 3s are on orbit and we're able to use them, we're going to see the likes of gigabit connection. We're going to be able to see lower latency. We're going to see higher speeds. So it's a lot of goodness that's going to be coming. Greater capacity. I think it's like 10 or 15x compared to the version 2 minis. That's a major, major difference. These things are the size of like, a plane. It's just, they're crazy. They're pretty big. They're pretty big. So I'm really excited about this because there's been so many people that have said, Joe, listen, you said that the prices are going to go down and instead they went up. What the hell are you doing? Like if I do it or something. When I make these statements, I'm, at this point, I'm almost like a futurist, right? I'm calling this based on what I see to come in the future. And what's going to end up happening is right now there's 10 million customers, getting close to, I think, 11 million customers. I mean, when I started, or when we started with SpaceX Starlink, I mean, there was 100,000 of us. There was like 112,000. That's it. Now it's getting close to 11 million. So the way I look at this is that once we see these on orbit, a lot of this congestion that we have, a lot of this difficulty in getting SpaceX Starlink in certain areas, a lot of that's just going to simply go away. They're going to have connectivity to boot, just a ton. Ad nauseum, just a lot of extra over the amount that they need. So when you have a lot of something, what ends up happening is the prices start coming down, even if you do not have competition. Because obviously right now in the space race of satellite internet, there's only one person out there, right? It's Elon Musk. Who else? You got Jeff Bezos. I don't know what he's doing. I think he's got like 300 satellites with, I think it's Amazon Leo, they call it now. Used to be, well, no, is it Amazon Leo? Yeah, Amazon Leo. Used to be Project Kuiper. Whatever. You could call it whatever you want. There's only 300 of them on orbit compared to over 10,000. So that being said, I still think the prices are going to go down because they're going to have so much capacity. And you don't want something just to lay dormant. You want it to be used. Whenever you build a server, I mean, I was in networking for many years, working in the NOCs, the network operations centers and whatnot. And when you would build something out, you would make sure that it's being utilized to a specific amount before you build any more, right? So let's say your utilization you want to be sitting at about 40%. When it gets to 70, then you're like, okay, it's time to build more. But if it's sitting there hovering at like 20 or 30, you don't build more. So they're going to have so many up there that the capacity is just going to be a ton, and they're going to need to sell it. And to sell it, they're going to lower the price. That's my prediction. Will it happen? I don't know. I could be wrong, but we will see. So you have some questions?
Yes.
Awesome.
Some comments. Bobby Haskell, if V3 allows gig speed, how does that work with the new Starlink G5s only doing about 375 megabyte?
So before you go any further, Fab, that's what I discussed in my last video. It's complete and utter nonsense. If you end up getting a version 5 SpaceX Starlink that's capped at 375 megabits down, you're not going to be able to enjoy the speeds that we're going to see with the version 3 satellites. That's just it. I look at this as almost a way to slow things down a little bit, number one. Number two, this is for the new onboarding. Number two, have an ability to lower price based on how much it costs per kit, okay? These new SpaceX Starlink kits are just going to be extremely cheap compared to the old ones. If you look at a version 1, one of the round ones, that thing is built, it's literally built like a brick house. Even the one that we currently have on the roof, which is the version 2, that has a fully articulating head on it, it moves by itself, okay? That one is built like a rock. It's just rock solid. When you see the new SpaceX Starlinks, they're like thin. They're very lightweight. I mean, the difference between a version 4 kit is I think it's like 6 pounds or 6.5 pounds, and the new one is going to be like 2.4 pounds or something. You can see the disparity. There's nothing there anymore, right? It's so thin, so light. Now, does that mean that it's not going to work or if there's going to be a problem? No. They're just figuring out what they don't need and they're taking it out. I heard that they were taking out the GPS and just using SpaceX Starlink for GPS. Now, when you start doing stuff like that, you're taking out radios, you're taking out all kinds of stuff. That just simply makes things smaller, lighter, and that's what we see today. So, to answer your question, version 5. If you pick up a version 5, you are not going to get the fastest speeds that SpaceX Starlink is going to be able to provide. End of story. You're going to end up having to buy another one. And that's why I said in my video, don't buy a version 5 if you can help it. I am predicting that the version 5s will be sent to people that purchase the $55 plan and the $85 plan, the Res 100 and the Res 200, okay? Buy the Max plan, which is at $130 per month. Once you buy the Max plan, if you want to downgrade, that's fine, do it, but you're going to get the better dish, the better kit. Now, I've said this in my video, and the chances are SpaceX is going to do something to circumvent everything that I just said. Because every time I tell you guys, like little tricks and stuff, like within a week or two, it's null and void. They figured some other kind of crazy ass shit out. So
they're like, we're going to prove you wrong.
Yes. So just, that's my suggestion. I could be wrong. Once again, do your due diligence. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. I'm just some guy on YouTube. All right.
I'm sitting next to some guy.
You just talk. Yeah,
some
you're
rando?
just sitting next to some rando.
All right, rando,
on YouTube
stop talking
about nonsense.
I got questions. We got comments.
All right, let me see.
Let's see. Hold on. KD5JKH, your latest book looks interesting. May have to pull the trigger and purchase. Currently on the fence.
Here,
you want to talk about that real quick?
Look at that. I'll throw up
but
the
make
little
it
ad
short.
spot. I'll make it really short.
What
very
is
short.
it? What does it do? What does it does?
What does it
do?
So the Truth Engine was the original one. Truth Engine Core. That is a way for me to teach you how to build your own local AI. So you're not reliant on ChatGPT or Grok or Perplexity or Gemini or Claude or whoever else, whatever. You have your own, okay? You have your own sovereignty. Whatever you put in there, it doesn't get taken away and up into the cloud and now they are looking at your bank statements or something. You don't want that. So I built my own and I teach you how to do it. It takes you about 20 minutes. All the stuff that you need is free. 20 minutes, you've got your own AI. Well, the new book, I think, the one that you're talking about is called the Truth Engine Pocket Edition. Now, you have to have the core before you can buy the Pocket because basically the Pocket allows you to do something that a lot of you have been asking me about. And that is use your Truth Engine that is local, but while you're gone, through your phone. And that's what the Pocket Edition is all about. Doing military-grade tunneling from your phone directly into your computer with no ports open or anything, using Tailscale. Okay. So anyways, that's the short end. Lastly, is that both books are living books, meaning that if you purchase one, every time I do an addition or a subtraction or I change things, you get the latest and greatest for free in perpetuity, forever. All right, so there you go.
So it's never out of date.
It's never out of date. Matter of fact, version 3 is currently out there, and version 3.1, because I did a ton over the last, that's why my eyes look like this, over the last few nights until like 3 o'clock in the morning. I've been working with AI this whole time. I have a new one coming out next week. Everyone that owns it, you're going to get it for free, but check it out because it has changed things that makes the search so much better. It's like just amazing. So anyways, I'll leave it at that.
Alrighty. I hope that helped.
There you go.
Mark Hiker said, "Happy Friday. Best of luck to SpaceX today. We all want to see a successful launch." And
Likewise. Let's see what I'm going to put this background of SpaceX.
Dwayne Jenkins, 8122, good afternoon from Southwest
There you go.
Colorado. Go Starlink V3 will be in S Padre in September.
There you go.
That is great.
Thank you for that. Now you're looking at it still says
It's still going?
1 hour,
We're good.
1 minute.
Okay.
1 hour, 1 minute. That's good.
Bobby Haskell also wanted to say that thank you for being so informative. Love your channel.
Thank you so much for that.
And question, John Diamond, how many V2
Hey, John.
satellites will each V3 replace?
So every version 3 satellite is the equivalent to about 15 to 20 version 2 minis. So it's a lot. It's a lot. So if let's say we use 10, which is the lower number, just for math to make it super simple, when they go throw 28 on orbit, right, on a launch, it would be the equivalent of them putting 250 on orbit on that single launch. Does that make sense? It's a big, big difference. And instead of being able to put 28 on orbit, which they can with the Falcon 9, they're going to be launching 60, 70, maybe even 80 at a time. Think about those numbers. So it's just a crazy, crazy amount of capacity. And that's why I state what I did. I really do believe that we're going to see the prices come down because they're going to have to come down because they're going to have so much that they can sell. You know how economy works. You have that sitting there. You don't want it sitting there dormant. You want it sold. So they're going to come down on the price, and there's going to be more people onboarded. Right now, they're slowing down onboarding. SpaceX has done so many different things to slow down onboarding. The first thing they did is they had a waiting list. I was on a waiting list for 9 months before I got my SpaceX Starlink, like 5.5 years ago. Okay, that's how they started. Then after that, they started doing this thing where certain areas would have to pay extra. So instead of having a waiting list, you have to pay extra if you're in a highly congested area. That was another way. Now, people would be like, Joe, they're stealing money from us. They're making us pay $1,500 just to get SpaceX Starlink. They didn't do it to make extra money, all right? They did it to slow down onboarding. Does that make sense? Because there's only so many things you could do to slow people down from buying your service. Could you imagine having that problem? You're like pushing customers away.
No.
You're raising the price. You're making it so it's difficult.
No, because I'm trying to grow my other business, and I can't even imagine.
Just having so many people, you don't know what to do.
Like, and then those people, because there are some people that will complain about that, and I've literally been like, just don't complain.
Don't complain.
Like, be
You have
grateful
so many
that you
people.
have business.
Yeah,
like,
thank
I don't
God.
get that.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
So anyway, that's what's going on with the version
All right,
3.
can I go through here a little bit?
Go ahead.
Hold on. I'm trying to get through questions. Just a reminder, you guys, if you have questions, do at JCristina, so it just pops out. It gets highlighted for me. It makes it easier.
Oh, let me say thank you right above us here. That is Lab Padres feed. When we were there the last time, we saw NSF's
I'm like
feed.
looking up, like, what are you talking about?
No,
this?
this is right here.
Like an idiot.
The NSS feed as well as Lab Padres. They have like these little
God.
remote cameras all over the place, and they have like solar, and they have the batteries. They have the whole thing set up. It's really cool, and thanks to them for just doing it. And they've been doing this for years and years now. It's just a cool thing, and everyone in the community obviously appreciates them.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there.
John K. Wolf said, right now the only one Starlink dish I get is 1 gig. It's the business model. Dwayne Jenkins, still using V2 articulated. Drop back to 200 megahertz because I don't need the speed right now.
Yeah, there you go.
Danny Pint, 4440. My version 2, when I bought it, was $630. Now I have the 3. And Ice-T Dakotan, do you know if V5 is going to replace the earlier versions or be sold alongside as a cheaper option?
I think right now the V5 is going to be sold if you purchase, like I was saying earlier, if you purchase a $55 plan, which would be the Res 100 or Residential 100, or if you buy the $85 plan, which would be the Res 200, they'll probably send you a version 5, okay? Because the top speed on both those plans are less than the 375 megabit top end cap. But if you buy the version that is the, what is it, $130, right? That max tier, well, shit. I mean, my max, like with my version 2 satellite, I have max. I've had max since from day one. We're getting over 400. We're getting like 405, sometimes 420. If we were sitting on a version 5 dish right now, we wouldn't even get. I'm getting faster speeds than a version 5 with my version 2. That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, hopefully that helps.
KD5JK said, I bought the version 2 with the actuator, the upgraded to the version 3 and a mini. I am pleased but curious about upgrading again to the newest, but wondering about the speed.
Yeah, just stick to the version, stick to your so if you have a version 3, I mean, you could always go with a version 4 if you wanted to. It's not going to give you much, okay, if anything. There's always there's a couple of trade-offs. Like a perfect example, like my version 2, it doesn't have Ethernet. So we have to get a little dongle. What a pain in the ass that is. But you have to have a little dongle for it. Stuff like that.
Stuff. I hate like aftermarket little
like little
things.
dongle.
Like,
but see, it's not even
pain.
aftermarket. It came from them.
I know.
But they
I'm
only
just
did it for
saying,
one
like,
version, and then that's
yeah.
it. Even the version 1 had built-in Wi-Fi. I mean, built-in Ethernet. I mean, this is just stupid. They just screwed up. And so anyways, they fixed it in version 3 and version 4 and so on and so forth. Version 5, they all have Ethernet now. You don't need a dongle, which is ridiculous. But so it's stuff like that, little niceties like that. But that's really about it. Same thing with the Mini. Remember, the first Minis, the next Minis after, they needed to be powered with your little barrel connector, which was kind of cool because remember, now you can actually power your Mini with DC instead of AC. So you don't need an inverter, you don't need anything. You could get your Jackery or EcoFlow plugged directly into it, your barrel connector. Well, barrel connector's gone with the new Mini. Now they just simply use like this little, like a USB-C. It says USB-C PD because it's power delivery. It runs about 70 to 100 watts, right? But this is it. That's on the new Mini. But the new Mini also has a did you just hit me?
Yep.
Okay. The new Mini also has a 4-cell lithium battery. So that thing, I did the math on it because that's what I like doing, math. And I figured out that thing will literally do from full charge about 4.5 to like 5.5 hours. So that means you just take the Mini, pull it out of the box, throw it on the floor with nothing, and now you start surfing the web. That's pretty awesome. That is awesome. And once again, that's all you need to charge it is this. So anyways, so they just keep on, getting a little bit better and more niceties in it. And they kind of cut stuff out that they don't need to kind of consolidate and to make it cheaper to make.
Okay.
So, sorry.
Oak Tree Viewing. Hello,
Hey,
Fabiola.
Oak Tree.
I truly appreciate what you both do. Watch out for Joe's rocket exhaust. Yes. I shall.
Where is my rocket?
Who knows? John Wolf said Starlink is saving money using the same technologies made right now until they get the new satellites up. KD5JKH, thanks for adding clarity. Think I will purchase the bundle. Your explanation helped.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't even talk about the bundle. I'm an idiot.
Well, Nico LY. Hi, everyone. What made you rethink your approach to cooling computing systems in space?
What was that? Say that one more time.
What made you rethink your approach to cooling computing systems in space?
I just did more research on it, and how the best way to do it is. And I really thought that using a liquid metal would be a good way to do it, but it's too heavy. So the old school, the same way that like ISS does it, is probably the best way to go. The liquid, the ammonia type of system, but a two-stage, right, ammonia system. So it's basically it's going from like a liquid to a gas. So a ton of heat is being expelled when it does that. So it goes into a constant loop. You're going to take these data centers and they'll knife edge them most likely. So if the sun is where you guys are, this would be the knife's edge. Okay. So what they'll end up doing is they'll have the sun hitting the side, which is the solar side, and then the radiators will be knife edge to the sun. So all this on both sides will be the radiators, and they will be seeing the outside of the, let's say, I think it's about negative 270 degrees Celsius, something like that. It's pretty damn cold. On both sides, right? And you'll have like a two-side type of radiator system, knife edge to the sun, but then your solar panels will be dead on the sun. Think about that, right? You'll have a row down here, and then you'll have a row at the top. So it'll look like, think about it looking like a T, all right? That's what the data center nodes, modules would look like a letter T, like this. And this will be pointing to the sun, this will be knife edge. So I'm not building these, I'm speculating, but we'll see if that's how they do it. But that's the best way I can think of to do it. And, sorry, go ahead. Next question.
Yes.
I'll go on forever.
Yes, of course. YouTube Booms. Hi, Joseph. I am curious. How did you learn all this stuff?
I don't know.
Is it all self-taught, or were you working in a similar field before you started this channel?
So
You're an old G computer nerd.
I'm just like I'm like a computer nerd. I was writing EPROMs and programming and assembly.
At 12?
Machine code
11?
when I was like 13. Writing code for, the Apple system back in the day. So, I've always been into networking and into programming, into computer stuff. But then I went to school for sociology and psychology, computers, and I also went to school for art. So I have
And photography.
like an art side to me, right? But then I have like the analytical computer side. So I'm always kind of tugging and pulling between the two, So I like them both. So anyways, but yeah, I don't, how I figured this stuff out, a lot of times I just look at stuff and I kind of just, I just kind of know. I don't even know. I don't know. But as far as figuring out the formulas and stuff, I would look them up. But then I would do the math and I would know the answers.
And why did you start this channel?
Why did I start the channel? That's a good question. Why did I start the channel? Well, the channel was started many years ago. I think about 12 or more years ago. It started out originally doing art, doing photography, because I was a professional photographer for 10, 20, 12, 15 years, whatever it is. So that's how it started. But then we moved from photography into the computer side of things, because I was just, photography started dying. It just, so I'm like, I got that love back for the computer stuff. I started building stuff out. And then when SpaceX Starlink ended up coming about 5.5, 6 years ago, I just manipulated the channel from that over to now Starlink. So now I'm doing space, SpaceX, Starlink, of course. I'm doing AI and Linux coverage. So those are all the things that I love, So I use Linux every day. I've been using Linux for the last, a year and a half. My Windows, like I always say, is still sitting in this blister pack. I never take it out. So everything is Linux, so that's hopefully that give you a little bit of idea.
Okay, Ice-T decoded and said, I trust the barrel jack over USB-C to be more robust.
What was that? What was that?
Ice T Decoden said, I trust the barrel jack over USB-C to be more robust. USB-C ports break. Shannon said,
I agree with that.
I am here. Shannon, I
Hey,
can't
Shannon.
with you. Shannon said, I am here, but I am not here. I will be here, then not here in a bit. Thank you, Dr. Seuss.
Yes, it's Shannon Seuss.
Let's see. Steve Helton, why has speeds dropped so much? Used to get over 400, lucky to get 200 now.
Really?
While
While
you do
you're
that,
talking about that,
yeah.
I'm going to bring up Starlink
Okay.
on
Danny
the phone
pinned
and see what
44.
we're getting as of right now.
Danny Pinned 440 said, I too am a computer nerd, 66 years old. I ran my own BBS before internet was thought of.
Yes. So I started a BBS way back in the day. It was called Twilight Zone, and it was more like a hacker's BBS. It was me and a buddy of mine that did Dial Your Match. If you remember Dial Your Match, it was like the beginnings of dating back in BBS times. So yeah, I had a BBS for many, many, many years. Anyways, let's go ahead and do a quick, let's see here. Top down, there we go. Let's do a test. Let's see what we get. I don't know if we're doing good today, if we're doing bad, but let's just see what we're getting. So we got like 200, 280, let's see, 290. All right, not too bad. Sometimes we're getting in the 400s. It really depends on the satellite that you have overhead. Is it a version 1.5? Is it a 1.0? Is it the 2 mini? Usually I can tell if it's a 2 mini because this number will be in the 400s. Also, the latency over here that you're going to see just in a second, see it says 29. I'm getting about 19, sometimes right around 15, which is amazing for latency, but we have an upspeed of 43. Not too bad. So there you have it.
Okay, disabled Army veteran, how are you? TGIF.
TGI?
I have the 200 plan and my speeds fluctuate between 65 and 250. What happened to sustained internet speeds with Starlink? Is AI tracking what we use speed-wise and slowing down the speed?
I think what's slowing down your speed is congestion in your area. That's like the number one thing that people
A lot of customers
don't take into consideration. I'll give you an example.
Dwayne Jenkins just said that. Sometimes slower speeds mean more customers using network.
Yeah. So we have here a park, right? A theme park, an amusement park near us, which is attached to a KOA. So what ends up happening is when the campers are loaded up in there, right, and there's just a ton of people in all of their SpaceX Starlinks are all over the place. Well, guess what? Our systems will start slowing down just a little bit. But now that since let's just say people around me systems slow down, mine doesn't slow down as much, and the reason being is we have priority over them. But I know a buddy of mine that's in the neighborhood. His will slow down because he has the Res 200 or Res 100 or something. So what happens is even though he has priority, all those people also, if you think about it this way, think about a pie, right? If you have a pie and you cut the pie into 8 pieces, okay? So 8 pieces or let's say 8 guests come over, everyone gets an equal piece of pie, right? Well, we need to make sure that people get equal pie. So what happens when a 9th person comes? Now, all of a sudden, you have to cut that pie into 9 pieces. What happens? Everyone gets a little bit smaller piece of the pie. How about when double the people arrive? So instead of 8, we have 16. Now, all of a sudden, the pie gets cut up into 16 pieces. Now, everyone gets half of a slice that would normally get. So if you think about the pie as your speeds, obviously, hopefully you're not getting half your speeds, but it's possible if there's that many people that are on your network. Because if they don't do that, right, and they don't use QoS or quality of service to be able to now mitigate drop-offs, then people will just literally just fail, right? They wouldn't be able to connect anymore because someone else is hogging it all. So instead, they split the pie equally. When I say equally, they split the pie based on your priority. The people that have minis get the worst priority, the least priority. It's deprioritized. Then comes the Res 100, then the Res 200, and the people that have max priority or the max which is $130 a month. Now, of course, there's actually one higher than that. That would be business class. But when it comes to residential or mobile res, the max is the one that gets the absolute highest priority. So hopefully that helps. That's usually where you end up seeing an issue, is with congestion, the number of people around you in your cell, because that's how they divide the planet and the service coverage up into these, like, it's like a honeycomb network.
I'm just going to read a couple of
go ahead.
comments. The OTLC 56. Hey Joe, question. How do I know I'm getting the older version, the new dish? I guess of the new dish.
Yeah, you don't know. That's the thing. So, like I said, I mean, my go-to would be, if I was to get a new dish today, I would order the highest tier plan. I would order the max, because they're going to give you the better dish. Think about it, because you got the max plan. You're going to be able to push through that 375 cap, that barrier. So that's what I would do. I would, 1 month, sacrifice, maybe 2 months, keep the max. And if you don't need max, drop it down to Res 200, Res 100. You have the better equipment at that point. That's about all I can say. I don't know. Once again, I don't even know if that will help. That's just what I'm guessing. Okay? So hopefully it does. Do your due diligence. See if there's anything else that you can do, but that's the biggest thing in my personal opinion. I see T-minus, what do we got?
Yeah, what's
41
going on with
minutes
that?
here. I can see the
41?
countdown going. 41
The skies
minutes.
look nice.
Sky looks nice. Yeah.
I'm just going to read a couple of comments. Dwayne Jenkins said sometimes slower speeds. Oh no, I read that already. Ice-T Dakota, and I'm getting 95, 16, and 28 on my Mini. Dwayne Jenkins, right now 195 down, 40 up, 28 ping. John
Not
K.
bad.
Wolf said my speed is getting slower the last couple of months. I think I have too many people around me too.
Probably.
Pot Pazzuto, 4809. Let's get rid of the crap known as USB-C and go back to USB-A Mini.
Yeah.
Deborah Milvers, Unlucky 13.
Yeah, we'll see.
And Chaos Coordinator Headquarters, I have the Res Max in rural Idaho. My speeds have been great.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, the residential max is the way to go if you want to get maximum speeds. And that's why they call it Res Max.
Shadow IV5BJ says my up always sucks.
Yeah, so
Why?
let me just talk about that just for a second, because most ISPs today, the upload speed is always much lower, usually a 10th to a 15th of what the download speed is, right? So you have synchronous and an asynchronous connection. Most ISPs will provide you with an asynchronous connection, right? So you get, like, for example, with SpaceX Starlink, I just did a test and I got, like, 240 here. I got 251 down by 43 up. You know what? Let me go ahead and run the test again. But that's what asynchronous looks like, okay? You have a higher download speed than your upload speed, asynchronous. Well, that is one of the other benefits to the version 3 satellites that are going to be up there, number one. But another benefit is the new spectrum that Elon Musk is bringing in. And I've talked about this in the past, and I'll just tell you guys right now. Let me see. Look at that upload speed. That is horrible. 11. I haven't seen it that bad in a while. But look at the down. So you can see the difference. This is called asynchronous. Now, if it was a synchronous connection, right? That means the 300 down, we would be able to buy a plan for 300 down, 300 up. That'd be synchronous. The same thing that we see happening with fiber and some of the copper. And I call it fat copper. Your Comcast and whatnot out there that are Cox that are doing the copper still. So, and same thing with fiber. A lot of them are synchronous. And that is what Elon Musk is going to eventually go with, because he is opening up new lanes on the superhighway. So let's say instead of having 4 lanes, now we'll have 8 lanes. So once you have 8 lanes, you could use 4 lanes for download and you could use 4 lanes for upload. instead of taking 4 lanes and using 1 lane for upload and 3 lanes for download. Make sense? So I think that that's going to eventually happen. Once again, I don't work for them, but I think we're going to see a synchronous type of connection where we'll be able to make a decision to either buy a asynchronous connection, which will be much cheaper, or a synchronous connection, which will give us a lot faster upload speeds. So we'll see what ends up happening with it. But these satellites are coming down. They were at 550 kilometers. Now they're authorized to be sitting there at about 300, 340 kilometers. That's a big difference. Lower latency, faster speeds, better connections, stronger RF, stronger radio frequency. So, all in all, these version 3s, they're going to change everything. I talk about it, and I know people, they think I'm crazy, but trust me when I tell you, the version 3s are they're literally the cat's meow. And they've been trying to put those on orbit for quite some time, and they're so damn big, they can't stick them up there with the Falcon 9 because they don't fit inside the fairing. So they have to get this Starship to work. So, my prediction, I think I said, 15 or 6? I think like IFT, probably like 16, we'll see the first, maybe 15, but I'm going to say probably IFT 16, test flight 16, we'll see them actually put a Starlink version 3 into orbit. And I'll get into a little bit of why these cannot stay up in orbit in just a minute, because I know people ask, well, they're going to launch 20 of these satellites up there today, if it does launch, 20 of them, but why? Why would they let them burn up? Why wouldn't they just push them up to where they need to be? I'll tell you why in just a second.
All right, YouTube Boone said 20 years ago we got rural broadband. As an early customer, it was very fast. Within 10 years, with more customers, the speed had died too much above dial-up.
Yeah.
Is this Starlink's future? Also,
No.
with all these low-orbit satellites, I'm going to start wearing my hard hat.
Yeah, so 2 things. Speeds are going to go faster. They're not going to get slower with Starlink, which is good. As far as the hard hats and all of these satellites, so right now Elon Musk commands, I think it's like 73%, close, maybe 77% of all satellites in space, right? So he has the lion's share of all these satellites, and they're all sitting in low Earth orbit in LEO, between 340 kilometers and 550 kilometers, right in that area, okay? But what people don't understand is the vastness of space. I did some calculations on one of the shows, and I calculated how much space there was between 550 and 340, and then multiplied that by the circumference. Anyways, the amount of space, in big quotes, space, in that area is so much that when you think 10,000 satellites is a lot, it is nothing. It is like a grain of sand, okay? It is nothing. 100,000 satellites is nothing. So if you think about it this way, if you were to take, how many times they put like, how many of these YouTubers, they'll put up like a globe and you'll see all these dots. These are the Starlink satellites. Look, it's just packed. And when you look at it, you're like, holy shit, there's a lot of satellites. They're going to start colliding and stuff, right? But it's nonsense. Why is it nonsense? Just think about it logically. If those dots on your screen that is around that Earth, the representation of the Earth, were actual, the damn satellites would be the size of an entire city. So the satellites are so small that you could not even represent them on the screen because you don't have pixels small enough. Does that make sense? Totally, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so, anyway, so the bottom line is when you see these representations of how many satellites are up there, just stop and just sit down and relax and have some sense. Use your common sense. Don't believe the bullshit, okay? And then you will immediately be like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Space is vast. Now, are they constantly moving out of the way of each other to make sure that there's no collisions? Yes. They do that all the time. SpaceX has a number of 1 millionth. The last time I read was 1 million. If there is a 1 millionth probability of a collision, the satellite will push itself into an alternative location, let's just say. It will move. So these satellites are constantly moving. It's like this, it's this undulation
All right,
that
undulation.
happens. Anyway, so yeah, we'll
Let's
just leave it with
undulate to
undulation.
another comment. Hector user UH3JU9.
Hey, Hector.
Thank you so much for that super chat. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Or this afternoon, or tonight, or because you're in California, so you're 3 hours
Appreciate you.
behind
Thank
us.
you.
So afternoon.
Love the super chats.
Mark Sparks. I have aluminum foil hats. Love that. Just don't stand outside in a lightning storm because you never know here.
Yep.
Coordinator 72, Joe.
Yes.
Not sight of you mentioned this already, but not sure. What happened to the gigabit speed with the V3 sats, but they are limiting you with the new V5 equipment?
Yeah, no, I agree. There will be gigabit speeds, but you're going to pay for it. And you're going to buy new hardware for the gigabit speeds. That's literally the bottom line. That's just the way it is. So I think the gigabit speeds, we're going to see the gigabit speeds come in 2027 once a good number of the version 3s are on orbit. And, you know, maybe first quarter, somewhere on there. And we'll see gigabit speeds, but it's going to be for commercial. You know, it'll be for business class at first. We're not getting gigabit speeds. Not right away. They're going to test them. They're going to make sure that everything's good. They'll probably, once they have gigabit, that's probably when they'll start doing these synchronous connections instead of asynchronous. And maybe they'll just start out with something small, where you can get like 100 by 100 connection. Think about that. Because even if they have a version 5 that has a top end of 375, they could still sell you a 1 by 1, right? 100 by 100. They can sell you a 2 by 2 or a 3 by 3, a 300 by 300 connection. That is a valuable connection. Trust me. If you're doing any type of bi-directional communication and having an upload speed of 300, that is just insane compared to what we're getting now, you know, 10, 20, 30. You know, I'm getting every once in a while, we'll see like 50 something. So that's a massive difference, right? Hopefully that helps. What do we got going on over here?
I'm doing some of my own research.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you so much for asking.
No problem.
And
I thought you were playing like Tetris or something.
I am not.
I looked over and there was
No.
like, was there games
No.
or?
I can multitask a lot. That's why I'm here today.
can.
Thank you. Hold on, because we have some comments and questions.
Okay.
When I move like from tabs to tabs, the chat closes on me. I don't know why. Lowell Knox 8624. When he puts up for 50 version 3s, will he take down version 2? Mark Sparks.
Let me just answer that real quick. So the satellites have an EOL, right? So every satellite has a finite amount of delta V. EOL would be like end of life. Delta V would be like the amount of change that can occur, the amount of movement, let's say. It doesn't really have to do with propellant because it's a proportionality to like propellant to weight to whatever. Anyways, the bottom line is each satellite has a finite amount. Let's just make it easy, okay? Forget about delta V, forget about and everything else. Just think about it this way. The satellite has a certain amount of fuel. Once the fuel is expended, it can no longer stay at its orbital altitude, and it will come back into the Earth's atmosphere and it will burn up. Every single one of them. That's what they do, right? That's why they're constantly launching. So a lot of the version 1s, the version 1.0s, not even the 1.5s, but a lot of the version 1.0s, they have already met their maker. That's just the way it is. They only have a finite amount of time. It's already like 5.5 years down the road or so. Those first satellites, they're gone already. Those are burned up in space. They literally disintegrate, okay? They turn into dust in space as they come in through the atmosphere. So these things will all do that. Every single one of these satellites have a specific number of time, specific number of months, and that's it. And if there is, let's say, more interaction with other satellites, whereas they need to maneuver more, they expend more of the propulsion that they have available to them on board, their lifespan becomes less. The same thing happens with extreme solar storms. When you get hit with a high magnetic pushing down, a force that's pushing these satellites back into the Earth's atmosphere, okay, and they're pushing them, they're fighting it to stay out of it, they're using a lot more propulsion, a lot more delta V, a lot more of that change over time, a lot more of that, let's just call it fuel, okay? So they don't live as long. So keep that in mind. But the bottom line is every single one of these satellites in 5 years from now, let's say, every one that's up there, all 10,000 of them, or close to 11,000 now, they will all be gone. They'll all be burned up. And there'll be new ones that have replaced them. So do they deliberately take them out of commission? Not, unless they're having a problem, then they might. But for the most part, they just come back as the propulsion is no longer available. Or they can shut down propulsion, and then they would just slowly come back into the atmosphere and burn up. Okay. That's it.
All right. So, hold on.
So, we have T-minus 26 minutes until we kind of push coverage over to SpaceX.
Can I take over now? Thanks.
Absolutely.
Because I have 26 minutes.
You got 26 minutes.
Because you suck up all the 26 minutes.
I'm a sucker.
Yes.
I'm going to light this, I think.
If you light that,
I'm not going to light
my face is right here, you're never going to see this launch.
Okay.
Okay. You're going to launch. They'll see you launch.
Okay. I will not light it. We'll wait. We'll finish the questions and I'm going to light it.
Oh, my God. So, Mark Sparks, I did the math when you mentioned the 1 million. I think I came out around 15-mile spacing. Don't quote me on that. It's been a few months. YouTube Boom said, I see those grains of sand every night. They may be small in a big space, but they certainly show up whizzing about the sky.
Especially when they're in a row, right? And the reflection of the sunlight is exactly in. Okay, go ahead.
KD5 JKH. I pulled the trigger and purchased the bundle Truth Engine.
Oh, cool.
And Pocket Edition mobile uplink bundle. Looking forward to going through it. Thank you very much.
Figure about an hour, you'll be done. About 20 minutes to do the actual Truth Engine. So you have your own AI. Matter of fact, here's the little ad spot. So you have your own AI. If you go through the book, just do me a favor. People get lazy and they skip steps. And then they're like, oh, shit, I don't know. What happened? You know, I ran this command, but Docker wasn't on yet. Well, Docker needs to be on because it's a Docker command.
It's like baking bread.
It's like,
you don't miss baking a step. It's not going to rise.
I made it so simple, right, that it literally took me, I put about 120 hours into this book. And a lot of those hours were put into finalizing the copy so that it's as simple as possible. So if you just go through it in order and not miss anything and read everything, 20, 30 minutes later, you're going to have your own, local AI.
Okay.
There you go.
Lost Gala, my girl. OMG. Hi, Fabiola. You just started. We did about, 30, 40 minutes ago now?
Something like
Almost an hour?
Yeah, maybe about an hour now.
If so, what a miracle of random checking. I love that you checked, Lost Gala. That means we
why
get
didn't
to
they
have
tell you that we're live?
I don't
That's
know.
what I
Aren't
know.
you subscribed,
Damn
my girl?
The YouTube.
That means we get to have an extra live today since, this is my weekly look forward to activity at JCristina.
If this thing actually pops off, Gal Girl, if it goes, all right, we're not going to do the Free Speech Friday, right? We're not going to do the JC Live show at 8:30. We're going to do this. This is going to replace it because we've already been here an hour. Yeah. We'll be here once it does launch. Trajectory, the whole, coming back of the Super Heavy and the dropping off.
This is my trajectory.
Yeah, you just do the monster.
If not, I'm not going to make
it. Bringing back the Starship and all that. It's going to be another hour on top of that. So we'll be on for probably about 3 hours. So once again, if this actually goes off.
Joe doesn't let me eat. I'm not going to make it.
There's like no food. We're like running on an energy drink. That's it. So.
Okay, Etcha. I'm not worried about gigabit. Maxed out, almost symmetrical service in Mini is where I'm at.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Tim Gilliam just ran some speed tests, remoted into my shop V2 unlimited plan. 215D, 25U, and 31 MS. House V4 on 100 megabits. Unicorn Plan 94D, 10U, 23 MS, and the Mini on standby 1D, 8U, and 45 MS.
Those are really good
And
numbers.
I think I missed someone. I don't want you to think I forgot, but I did see it.
If for some reason we didn't answer your question, just put it in there again. Put
this
at
wasn't-
JCristina. This way it pops right
Oh,
up.
yeah, here it is. They did put at JCristina. I just missed it because you talk too much.
Of course.
Oak Tree Viewing. Maybe Joe will do another speed test during the short time the V3 satellites are deployed, even for a short time today. Maybe a temporary speed increase during that time.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's do another
Okay.
speed test.
So, moving on.
You just keep on
I
talking.
am going to keep talking. I'm taking over right now.
You just take over.
Robert Robert Fralick, how are you? Happy Friday from Washington State.
Hey, Robert. How you doing?
Mr. Blunts, let's fucking go. We will see one of the best launches today all the time.
I'm thinking
TGIF.
you're probably right. This should be a good one. So we got 202 down, we got 35 up, right around there, 33 up. Let me see what the milliseconds are. I can tell just by the 202 that this is most likely a version 1.5. This is not a 2.0 mini overhead. If not, we would get better speeds than this. But that's all right. We'll do some speed tests over the course of time that we're on.
Okay. YouTube boons. One big advantage of lower altitude Starlink orbits is that if there is a Kessler event, God, I can't talk, all the debris should fall out of the orbit fairly quickly.
Yeah. You're talking about the Kessler, did you say Kessler?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Kessler effect. Yeah, Kessler syndrome, Kessler effect, whatever. Yeah,
Super chat.
absolutely. The bottom line there is yes. Even if there was some collisions that were to happen, as soon as the propulsion is dead, as soon as it's done. Here's an example before we go into the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. So think about this. The version 3 satellites that they're going to put on orbit today are actual version 3 satellites. They're going to open up the antennas. They're going to undo the solar array. Okay, they're also going to make high-speed connections with other Starlink satellites, and 6 of them have cameras that are going to be facing back at the ship. So we're going to have some brilliant photos there, right? But think about this. Those satellites have a lifespan of about 20 minutes, maybe best case 35 minutes, and that's it. They're literally dust in that period of time. Now, people will be like, well, why are they just going to just, why are they going to literally just turn these version 3 beauties into dust? Well, that's what they do over there at SpaceX. That's how they test these things. So once again, these are actual, authentic, real version 3 satellites that will literally have a lifespan, an EOL, of 20 minutes, maybe 30 max, and that is it. They're going to do what they need to do, and then they're going to burn up. But that just shows how there is no way for those satellites to actually make it into an operational orbit. People would say, well, can't they turn on those ion thrusters and be able to get up there? And the answer is no, they can't. There's no way for them to do it. And the reason being is not for the ion thrusters are the ion thrusters basically put out a thrust about as much as this paper falling. That's about it. This is about as much the thrust that you're getting out of it. Very, very little. But the problem is that those satellites are going to be going at the same speed as the ship. And the ship will be going at 16,500 miles per hour. Now you're going to say, well, why does that matter? Because to break the barrier into space, in other words, to break away due to atmospheric drag as well as gravitational pull of Earth, you need to go 17,500 miles per hour. So it's 1,000 miles per hour too slow for them to even get close. Make sense? The reason it's going slow is because they don't want the Starship to stay in orbit and go around the entire planet. They want it to go suborbital and basically come back down into the Indian Ocean. Make sense? That's why those satellites will be burning up so quickly, because it doesn't get fast enough to break free. All right, she hit me. I won't go any further. I think you get the idea. The super chat there.
You FO Sal 722. I'm Sal, a regional Amazon relay truck driver, dreaming of owning a fleet of 10,000 cyber cabs. Hope to be the first trucker to make money from Tesla and autonomous EV, semi, and cyber cab money.
Smart man.
Launch success. Thank you very much.
Smart man. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, no, absolutely. That would be amazing having a fleet of 10,000 cyber cabs. Could you imagine?
No.
That would be goals right there. Talking about making money while you sleep, right? So, but yeah, being a truck driver, you know, so you're doing the Amazon relay. So there's a lot of truck drivers that I've heard from in not just the chats here, but also in email that are using SpaceX Starlink every single day. They get the minis, they mount them to the top of the truck, and they literally, they have full internet everywhere. Doesn't matter where they go. Doesn't matter if the cell tower is down someplace or there is no cell towers. They could be sitting in the middle of the desert and they still have full connectivity. That is really powerful.
How's the time look?
We're showing T-minus 16 minutes.
Nice.
So once again, once they get close, we're going to switch over to their coverage. And
we won't babble as much.
And we won't babble. I will babble again, so keep on putting the questions in there.
Yeah.
Once
again,
they hit orbit. Once
Put
they're
at
in there.
JCristina so the questions are highlighted. Sometimes I'll read off comments here and there, but if it starts getting busy, then I can't see them. So at JCristina if you have a question.
In fact, let me flip this background on so you can see it. See that? T-minus 16 countdown there.
Okay, let's see. YouTube, Starship on hold, I think. That was a little bit ago because I don't know.
Well, we'll see.
Matthew. Hello, sir. Matthew here from Jamaica. I have a Starlink from January of this year, and all now there is no residential plans for it here in Jamaica. I have a Gen 3 dish.
I didn't even know that. Interesting. So that's all you can get is mobility. Interesting. Okay.
Let's see. Eric and McMahon, how are you?
Hey, Eric.
Do I have to have the Truth Engine downloaded onto my computer before I can use it on my phone?
Yes. So basically,
look at me knowing the answer to that.
Yes. So the Truth Engine basically allows you to make.
He's saying his PC is old and slow POS.
Yeah, so that could be a problem. So remember, the Truth Engine runs on your GPU. So if you have a complete trash GPU, you're not going to be able to run the AI very well. I like to see about 12 gigabyte GPU, or you could do unified memory if you're going to put it onto a Mac. It is, the way I have it set up is you can install it on Linux, on Mac, or PC. It doesn't make a difference. It's agnostic. It doesn't care what you're running it on. So, but yeah, you have to have the core installed first. And then you can get the Pocket version, which is basically, the Pocket version is a tunneling means to do like a military grade tunnel right to your own local AI from anywhere on the planet is basically what it does without opening ports and leaving yourself exposed. So it took me a while to figure out exactly the way I wanted to do that. I was going to write an app for Android and an app for, I said, it's just stupid. So the way it's done is extremely simple. Everything that I do in the book, I could make it a hell of a lot harder, but I make it as super simple as possible so that anyone can do it. That's the whole idea. Because, I've been just using ChatGPT and, Grok and Gemini and all the rest of them, Claude for a while. And it's like when I ask questions and it doesn't give me the answer or it gives me some bullshit answer, it just pisses me off because I know the answer's out there, but they're filtering what answer I'm allowed to see. That makes me mad. And that's why I put together the Truth Engine. Anyways.
Okay, so some people are saying that the launch is showing 16 minutes one display and 59 on the other, and hold on.
So
watching my sink or swim. No, wait. What? Hold on. I lost the other one. Shit.
Yeah, I'm showing now 19 minutes.
Okay.
It said 16, so that means they added a little bit of time in there. It says that it's going to start at 6:16 now, according to what is on here. So what you see behind, like what you see on the screen right now, it says T-minus 13 minutes. But if I do an update on that screen, which I'll do right now so you guys can see it, Let me go ahead and update that screen. And you'll see that they increased it by, I think it's 5 minutes. So let me do that update real quick. Hold on just a second. Here we go. We're going to refresh that. And let's see. Here we go. So there you go. You see that? We added some minutes. But that's not that big of a deal. I don't mind those. That's just a little bit, right? The thing that made me crazy is when we were watching it last time.
Oh yeah, it was all over the place.
It said like T minus like 1 hour, and then all of a sudden it said 1 day and 1 hour. I'm like, oh my God, they just increased it by a day.
Okay.
And then that day they ended up doing it anyway. So.
Mr. Blunt, Joe Buddy, listen, we might just let the wifey talk before you are eating ramen for dinner.
I actually like some ramen.
I think he's a smart guy.
Yeah, no, he's smart.
He said, hey, I learned a long time ago the wife's always right, even when she does not. I'm only 29, about to be 30 in October 8th. Well, you know what? You're a smart man, and happy early birthday.
Yes, happy early birthday.
Because look at Joe.
And
he's still learning.
You learned this shit.
No, you're still learning.
Twice as fast as I did.
Yes.
I still didn't figure it out yet.
Okay, let's see. Oh, that's what it was. Tim Gilliam said, watching multiple streams of the launch, NSF is showing a hold, but that was a little while ago, so.
Yeah, well, I'm just actually watching. What you see on the screen right now is current. T minus 17 minutes. Remember, that's 17 minutes until coverage. Okay?
Dwayne Jenkins said,
their coverage is like 30 minutes prior to launch.
Why does the upper video show 50 minutes? I'm confused.
That's a good. That means that somehow. Let me go ahead and see if I can go and fix that. That is Lab Padres site.
YouTube says has T minus 50 on your own screen.
Yeah, here we go. There we go. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that says. Okay. So you need to understand this. The launch time, which you see at Lab Padre or on NSF, that is launch time until the actual launch time it is. The number that you see, this T minus 16 minutes, is the time at which they're going to take over. That's when their coverage is going to start, okay? So the 16 minutes isn't 16 minutes until launch, it's 16 minutes till they take over, and then they usually are blabbling for about 30, 40 minutes like we do.
Top tower vent is going, cooling has started.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Gala Girl, questionable when if Joe lights the SpaceX, can it be tested pointing flame towards your right? Opposite direction of Fabiola. Thank you. Question mark.
We could do that.
To test the opposite of usual ignition.
It's just I'm right-handed, so it's a lot easier to shoot it.
He's always going to come up with something.
It's easier to shoot.
Do it now before this thing goes off.
All right, here we go. All right.
But don't,
I'm aiming it this way.
No, he doesn't, you guys. He's always angling it this way. You guys, you don't see it over there.
I'm angling the ship that way.
You're such a liar.
All right, here we go. 3.
I don't want a Michael Jackson situation.
2, 1.
You see? You see?
That was a pretty big one.
Yeah. So I'm going to do next time. I should have done it. I
If
should have
you
done
do
it
it,
the
it's
other
not
way.
going to be big, I promise.
No, because it always happens. You do it on purpose. Didn't you just fill that up too?
Yeah, it's full.
I'm done.
You know, this thing's supposed to be like this big. Like you could light a cigar or something with it. It isn't supposed to go this far.
Coordinator.
I think I got like a defective one. It's like random. I don't know.
I think it's you. It sucks. I should have listened to Gala Girl.
Yes. So at T minus, so at 37 minutes.
Oh, Mr. Blunt said his does it too.
Does it? Oh, so it's not defective. They're supposed to do that.
Oh, maybe you two are connected somehow.
We're connected. I don't know. Kind of crazy. I don't know what's going on with that.
Oh, God, Shannon, I am now here. Then not here.
Then you're not here?
Thanks. I'm glad you're here, though.
I'm glad you're not here, Shannon.
Christopher Yeager, what's up?
Hey, Chris.
Marcus Sparks, you need another model of that rocket modified with solid fuel. Jesus, you
Yes,
want me to
could you
just be like
imagine?
annihilated?
Just like a
I'll be
like
sitting
an
here
actual
like
engine?
charcoal.
Do you remember launching like your own rockets, like in your backyard, and they would just 200, 300, 400 feet, and then come back down with a parachute? Do they even have that shit anymore?
What?
like the rockets you launch in your
They don't have anything
backyard
fun
and
anymore.
stuff.
Everything
It's like fun. We
sucks.
would put cameras, like they had like little.
Do you
mini
remember the little army men that you used to
Yeah,
play
we'd
with?
launch
and
them up
just
there, they burn up, they come back
Yeah, but we
flamed.
used to put like the fucking
With M80s and stuff in them.
yeah, in the
Yeah, like
in
firecrackers.
the firecrackers and chuck
Why
them.
would you do that? That's really destructive.
I have no idea because
That's
that's what
nasty.
we
Are
did.
you okay?
No, I'm fine. Are you good? We survived. That was fun shit.
Yeah. I mean, I drank out of the well.
Oh my god. Ice Sky, hi, greetings, Earth beings. Hello. Wait, how does it go? Can I do it?
This
No,
deal?
I can't do it sometimes.
I don't know what that is.
No, I can do it on my left side better. Why is that? I'm a righty though, but on the left I can do it, but I can't do it over here.
I think you have like a brain disconnect.
I think so. But look. All right, what's going on?
I don't know. What are we doing here?
Lost Gala, Joe failed instructions request. Can we have a refund? Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. So at 37 minutes, T-minus 37 minutes, that's when they start the liquid
Hey,
oxygen.
Robert.
And then liquid methane comes right after that. So they start
So
the
this is what they're
propellant.
doing. They're starting up.
Yeah,
They're
and if you
warming
look at
up.
right above us, you could see it off gas. You could see it, as it is. It's like it's time. All right, it's time.
Wait, hold on. I have to read. This is funny. Tim
God.
Gilliam said, "Poor army men, y'all Gen X is showing again. Listen, we
Yeah.
roughed it out. We did all kinds of stuff.
Oh man, those army men, they took abuse.
We set things up, and it was just fun. And now everyone's just scared to do stuff. You got to get out there, get a little cray. We survived the thing that you used to push the kids in the playground.
Merry-go-round?
No, yeah.
Yeah,
and
just like spinning.
until you flew off.
Just-
Either you threw up, got knocked out,
Yeah.
flew out. The
Concussion,
seesaw,
sometimes a broken arm.
the hot slide that was metal. And
Oh
your
yeah, metal
butt
slide.
burned all the way
First
down.
degree burns down both legs, or here just like a
Yeah,
straight
yeah.
burn, like on the side of your arm.
Yeah, we're
That's
good.
what
We're
it
good.
was. This is good stuff.
That was
huh?
good stuff. Listen, it
Now
built us
everything is
tough
like-
and it built character.
Now just like we had like rocks. Like
see
now
what you
now there's
started?
like now
You
there's like
started
rubber
this with the
rubber
army
chunks that you like walk through. It's like everything is like I don't know, like
Straight up splinters in your butt.
now it's like made out of like I don't know, like antibacterial
Oh my God.
compounds that probably cause cancer. I don't know.
All right, Dan in 406. I remember as a kid saving up for the SD Saturn V. Launched it, shoots deployed, wind took over, and we never saw it.
That's right. They would go, shoo, and you're like, oh shit, oh, it's going that way.
Yeah.
And you like go walk as far as you can. This thing's still drifting away. Yeah.
Yes, living wild and free. If not, you're not living.
Oh.
I Sky, hi. We need a poll. Is Elon working with the brothers? The alien brothers?
Maybe.
Thomas Zett. Hobby Lobby sells model rockets. Launch them on the frozen lake in the winter with grandkids. Oh, see, that's fun.
That's
That is
that's
fun.
the good stuff right there. That's the good stuff.
John Wolf. Yes, they still have the rocket skin Rocker Ranch. Still use them. Get out.
That's cool. See?
Lost Gala. Yeah, those spinning go rounds were fun. Oh man, metal slides. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the good stuff. Or remember the swings that you would like stand on? You wouldn't sit on them, and you'd just be going back. And you'd be like literally sideways, like 90 degrees back. It would. This is good stuff.
That's good stuff. Lost Gala got burned many times. John said the good old days. Mr. Blunt's nothing beats bottle rockets and Roman candles.
Right?
God, we're crazy.
Like 10 M80s strapped together underneath
Yeah.
like a aluminum bucket. I mean, can
Matt-
you get any better than that?
Matt Poberski,
What do
Jen
you have
Jones
over there?
here. Wait, hold on. Oh, the memories. And Chad Kelly said, I got my mug today. Woo! Welcome to the club. I didn't get
Hey.
to use my mug today, though. Joe took it hostage. It's been out here because today I have.
What does it say on the
this,
mug,
but,
people?
You know, rockets are.
Rockets are yin yin yin. What the hell is that?
Yeah,
Rockets
yeah,
are
yeah.
hard.
Rockets are hard.
I made that because
It's kind of like old school. The car doesn't start
Yeah,
because
something
Jeff
like that.
Bezos' rocket
Yeah.
just didn't work.
Yeah, when Jeff Bezos blew up his pad, Elon Musk on X immediately wrote, while there's still flames on the pad, rockets are hard. That just made me just crack up. So I'm like, so now I got rockets are hard hats, rockets are hard shirts, rockets are hard on a mug. I just think that's funny as hell. Because you got billionaires that are digging each other that don't need for anything. And that right there, those 3 words, just to him, I guarantee you that tickled his ass just to be able to say, rockets are hard, bud. They're hard. While his rocket exploded on the pad and the pad's burning. And yeah.
All right.
So anyways, there you go.
Matt Post said safety concerns were optional. Yes, they were.
Yeah, there's no safety.
YouTube booms. As kids, we put pram wheels on an old door and rode it down a big hill on our farm. We survived the inevitable crash.
Yeah, there was no. Your shoes. Hopefully, they had good tread on them.
Listen, you're talking to a girl that lived in North Carolina. We went on our dirt bikes, shorts on, through the cornfields, okay? By the time you got off, because you were out there for hours.
Up.
Yeah.
You're tore up.
We survived.
So listen, I'm going to just stick with the chat, all right?
Okay.
We got
we have
any
a super
questions
chat
that you
real
have,
quick.
put them in there now, because they're going to take over, if this is true, within 8 minutes.
All right here. UFO Sal, thank you for the super chat. Can you read that, please?
Thank you. What do we have here? Is it 20 VR satellites that are being dispatched? Yes, it is. There are 20 of them.
They're going to
how
show
fast
how
feature
fast
internet will be. As far as the internet, we're going to see gigabit. I do plan on getting the Starlink internet for my KW Semi. That is smart. I think that's a good one. Get the Starlink Mini, the new one, because it actually has 4-cell lithium battery. So you charge that thing up, even if you have the truck off and you don't want to charge it, you don't want to have it plugged in all the time, you don't have to. It will actually run for about 4 or 5 hours with no plug in it at all. Wi-Fi, remember it has the modem and it has the router built into the dish itself, so you don't need any secondary anything. That's all it needs is power, and that is it. Let me see here. Hope for a successful launch. Me too. So thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. And yeah, we're gonna see some pretty amazing speeds in the not so distant future. I'm gonna say fourth quarter this year is going to be a special time, and the beginning, first quarter of 2027, I think is going to be a really big time. So, within the next 6-8 months, there's going to be some major changes, and you'll see it all here on the show.
All right, so where are we at?
We're at T-minus 6 minutes before they take over.
Someone said that they're loading the...
LOX and methane?
Yeah, no, shoot. Hold on, where did it go?
They're loading in the astronauts?
Yeah, the aliens, I don't know.
They're loading in the aliens?
Yeah, they're going to take them back home.
Yeah.
Because they're like, there's too much shit going on down here. Y'all are all messed up, so we're going to take a ride with Elon, and we're going to go back. We'll launch ourselves from up there somewhere. Coordinator, us Gen X where I'm from used to fasten hop toads to bottle rockets and send them on a special mission.
Yeah, that's cruelty.
Pre-Elon.
It's very cruel, and you should never do stuff like that.
Oh, God. Oh, Shannon, 31 months, almost as long as it takes Joe to answer a question. Like, subscribe, and share. Yes, what Shannon
Thank
says.
you, Shannon.
Let's
31
see
months.
some space shit today.
Wow,
Shannon.
Yeah, you know what, Shannon? I thought that they were going to abort this thing hours ago.
No, but the sky looks good.
Yeah, but it looks good. I mean, I'm floored.
Keep your fingers
honestly.
Crossed.
I'm excited.
Favor.
I hope this thing goes.
This will be good. Let's see.
They had to replace 4 of those Raptor 3 engines. 2 of them, they fixed 2 and I think they replaced 2. I have a feeling they're gonna need more work on those Raptor 3s. But I think right now they did some software modifications to keep things copacetic with them. But I have a feeling they're gonna have to retool those Raptor 3s, and that's gonna be a process.
Lost Gala
we'll
said, I thought you said Skinwalker Ranch, but it was something similar. Also, that's an interesting show. I want to go there. Who else? JCristina.
Who else? I don't know. Who
I'm
else?
not familiar with the Skinwalker Ranch, but it sounds familiar, but I don't know what it's about. Tell me.
I haven't seen it.
Well, we don't see anything because we're always too busy working. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a double shift for me now.
Yeah, no. I know. Luckily, I was doing nothing all day today.
And then what happens is when we decide we're going to watch something, we're sitting there like idiots for half an hour going through Netflix or Prime or whatever other apps. And then by that time, I felt like I've already seen stuff, so I'm like going to bed.
You know, when I go onto Netflix or onto Amazon Prime and I'm looking at these movies, I literally feel like I'm back at Blockbuster looking at all these C-rated shitty movies. And it's just
But
like
at least
one after
Blockbuster
another
was
after
fun.
another. And
It
you're
was
like,
an experience. You
you're just like
went, you got
reading
your
it, you're like, oh my
popcorn, you
God,
got
is
your
that
candy?
like the dates and the amount of junk that they can actually put onto Netflix and onto Amazon Prime and all the rest of it is just unbelievable.
William Covey said, wish they would just fire that thing. I'm getting sleepy. Keep up with the conversation.
Yes. All right.
Well, I have a Monster. Joe's drinking a Red Bull,
I
so
have a
we'll
Red
just
Bull.
keep chatting away.
Yeah, we just don't eat. We're on energy drinks right now. Probably shouldn't. So, like I said, it's T-minus 3 minutes right now.
And they're going to
until
start talking
they start
at 3.
talking. So, any questions you have right now, put them in there. Once we go silent and not talk over them.
Yeah.
Just so you know, order of events. They're going to start out going live, and their live will be a presentation of like the past of what's going on or something. That's usually what they do. And they start playing some music. I will mute that music because if I leave it, YouTube will demonetize the entire frickin' show because it is copyrighted music that we're playing, even though we're not playing it.
Oh my God.
I know it's a hell of horse shit, but you have to play by the rules of the big fish when you're a small fish in a
Mr.
very
Blunt
big
said
pond.
has started loading. The locks started loading.
Locks is loading. That's at T-minus 37 minutes. By T-minus 21 minutes, that's when we're going to start seeing that raptor start chilling. That's when they're going to start chilling those raptors. On the
YouTube
boosters.
booms. There's a little guy underneath in a silver fire suit and a big lighter. The final backup for those 4 engines.
See that? That's what they need. Some guy with like a blowtorch. Start it!
Mark Sparks, a billionaire Bigelow that was making inflatable space stations, bought a ranch where there was reported alien activity. Oh, we totally need to watch that now.
Sounds
Thanks,
fun.
Los Gala. Thanks.
Yeah.
Mark Sparks. That does sound good. Eric McMahon, I poured a Monster into my uranium glass, and when I drank it, it turned to the Incredible Hulk.
That's funny. If you guys don't know it, right behind
I
Fabiola.
knew you were gonna.
Let me just roll you this
Why
way.
do I have to get rolled? You guys, I
roll
get
that way?
fired on. I get rolled.
Yeah, you see that? You see how it's glowing green? It's not glowing green because it's got like some LED on it. It's glowing green is because that goblet is made from, or let's just say has uranium-235 in it. So it's from like 1885, like literally before we had electricity. That's when that goblet, that's what I bought it because I'm like, everything on the show is like new. So that is as old as they come. It's literally older than the Eiffel Tower. It's older than like a lot. Literally 1885. But that's why it's glowing, because underneath it I have UV LEDs that put out UV light, and that's why it activates. If you take that uranium goblet and you bring it out in the sun, it glows like that, green. So anyways, yeah, you're talking about uranium. There's some right there. That's how they made them back then.
So pretty,
and I have a
right?
Geiger counter because I'm a dork, and that thing's pretty hot. That thing's pretty hot. You'll hear it scream. So anyways, there you go.
Oak Tree Viewing said, I hope they remember the keys to start the engine today.
Well, look at that. T-minus 17 seconds. Let's
Okay,
see.
let's
Let's
see.
see
Hold
if it
on.
actually happens here.
Matt Pobursky, did you see Elon's interview with The Economist? Yes, I did. He roasted the woke reporter so bad. Elon takes no crap. Gotta love that about him. Yes. Also, I'm happy that he is on our side.
God.
Marcus, light that candle. Lost Gala, yes. Skinwalker Ranch is a huge site for UFO activity, MF, etc. They've done hundreds of drones flyings at once with bizarre dysfunctions. Many more tests also. People can go there and camp. That's cool. That is cool.
All right. Let's see
Fishing
here.
for drills, 417. Quit sugar and sodas 8 months ago. Incredible difference. I am sure that you are right, but right now I can't. Let's see. Tim Gilliam. After hours still sitting at high $114. Damn sure hope it launches along with Starship.
I hope so.
Yes. Let's see. Hold on. John Wolfe, they have a round dome and they have science trying to figure out what is going on the sky, and every device they have goes crazy. That's part of the show.
Yeah.
Sky High, if you like rockets, drones, lasers, infrared, GPR tech, you'll love Skinwalker Ranch. God, we're missing out. We really are.
I know.
We're over here, like everything we do is family, which is great, and work. Family and work. Family and work. So we really
Yes. Well, it looks like they're getting something started. I'm going to end up expanding the screen out.
All right, I'm
so
gonna
just
finish this
hang
real
tight
quick.
for that. But as soon as they come on, we'll get them going here.
All right, Tin Dog Travels. Man, it's 8 a.m. here in far north Queensland, Australia. Hello. Talking about ranches, loving Yellowstone. Our ranches are measured in thousands of square miles over here. Any way tightened to the straps were GTGing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Lost Cala, have you seen the stuff they found underground? Oh, she's talking to someone else. YouTube, what? You are sitting next to a radioactive goblet? Are
Yes.
you wearing lead underpants? Absolutely not. I'm just drinking more green stuff to go with it.
That's right.
Mr. Blunt's, the stocks will skyrocket in the next 5 launches. Dwayne
right.
Jenkins,
Well,
buy
it
at
looks like
80 in
they
November
are-
and hold on. Oh no, Marcus, look scrubbed. Nothing happened yet. Lost Gala, does anyone here know about the red eye and black eye? Know what I'm talking about?
No.
And JYR Java, SpaceX started live stream in X and informed HTTA propellant load started. So I've caught up. Again, if you have a question, please at JCristina so I can see it highlighted in the chat. Bobby
Center
Haskell.
this.
I would love for you to watch the show and let us know your take. Some wild stuff they experience, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. We're gonna watch it. We might even watch it since we're not gonna be here super late tonight. I'm gonna I think we'll do that when we're done here. Thank you guys. Thanks, Lost Cala.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
We will see the round Earth when it takes off. Yes, you guys, keep your fingers crossed. Let's hope for this thing. And I'm going to put it in the chat, but if you like Joe's content, if you like our goofy chats and our Friday nights, or any video for that matter that Joe has, I don't know how many hundreds of videos on
Just
tech.
a couple.
Yeah, on tech, on Starlink, education, and all that. Please like, share, and subscribe. We would really appreciate it. You can thumbs up, you can thumbs down. We like that too.
Yeah.
Whatever. We'll take it. All of it.
Let's see. Here we go.
I'm Kate Tice, Senior Manager of Quality Systems Engineering.
And I'm Nathan Commissary, a civil engineer here at SpaceX. Today, we're coming to you live once again from just outside the Star Factory production floor, about 1.5 miles from the rocket on the pad.
Back in May, the first test flight of Starship version 3 delivered tons of data, and we'll be putting those learnings into practice today on Flight 2. All of this brings us one step closer to a fully and rapidly reusable vehicle, the key to enabling frequent flights to the Moon and Mars. Starship will also enhance Starlink's
In the chat,
constellation
guys,
and
let me know if you can
connectivity
hear
on
them
Earth,
well.
the Moon, and beyond, while helping establish a network of AI data centers in space. Success on today's suborbital mission also opens the door for near-future orbital flights and our first attempt to catch ship on Tower 2 here at Starbase.
And this is an exciting day for the Starlink team as well, as we're planning to deploy 20 of the newest generation Starlink satellites. These sats aren't intended for operational use and will only be in space for about 20 minutes before demising. But during
I
those
heard
20
that
minutes,
somewhere.
we're going to attempt to speedrun a bunch of tests. Things like deploying solar arrays, firing thrusters. We'll get into those a little bit later into the show.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and what Starlink engineers learned today will be essential to deploying operational V3 satellites into the Starlink constellation on future Starship flights. These larger, more powerful next-generation satellites are designed to boost orbital capacity, strengthen the overall network, and deliver a noticeably better experience for our customers.
And as we've said before, Starship is a developmental program. What we're doing today is a test. We test in flight because it's the best way to rapidly iterate the design, and it's the best way to put the vehicle through its paces in the actual conditions it will experience during an operational mission.
Yeah, exactly. So while we have real Starlink satellites on board, the most important payload today is data. But no matter the outcome of today's test flight, excitement is once again guaranteed.
Now let's head a couple of floors upstairs where Dan Hewitt is just outside the Launch Control Center. How's it going, Dan?
Hey, Nate. It is going great. Hi to you and Kate. Hello, everybody else. I'm Dan Hewitt with SpaceX Communications. Happy to be here with you for another launch day. As Kate noted, our first attempt to launch this flight test last Thursday ended early in a pad abort. Let's dig into that a little bit. So 4 of Super Heavy's 33 Raptor engines aborted at startup due to issues with their aux turbo pumps. Those rapidly pressurize and feed liquid oxygen into the engine for combustion. For those of you that like to pay real close attention to the on-screen telemetry, you saw this at T0 during that first attempt. We command the engines to start up simultaneously. You get some slight differences as the engine adapts in real time, but you saw 4 not light up. So 4 out of 33. What exactly happened? We have a launch constraint built in where we can only be down 2 Raptor engines at liftoff. So the vehicle detected more than that, we're out. Automatically aborted before the final T0, safely shut down all of the engines that started up. We dug through the data, and what we saw was some off-nominal spin response in the aux turbo pumps on 6 of the engines. So the most likely root cause was determined. We were collecting some moisture inside of the pumps from previous operations, which then froze when we introduced that cryogenic propellant, and that either slowed those pumps down or stopped them completely from spinning. So for this next flight attempt, we swapped in 6 engines that were already at Starbase, and we did a test back on Wednesday that allowed us to check out the newly installed engines and spin the aux pumps on all 33 after they were chilled, check out their performance before we got into another launch attempt. We pulled a bunch of those engines off, as we said. We tested one on a test stand up at McGregor, helped screen for any other issues that might be hiding, and that one was actually able to do a full booster ascent burn. So got us in a good position for today. Even though we didn't get off the pad last week, we learned about the engines, the prop systems, how they perform in the flight environment. Already going to drive some changes to make Starship more reliable. We also got a real-world test of an abort that's designed to take place at one of the most critical, dynamic phases of flight. We safely shut down 29 running Raptor engines, safeguarded the vehicle and the pad. A mountain of work goes into designing aborts. You've got software, hardware engineers just dreaming up bad day scenarios, how we want the vehicle to respond, just to give us the best possible path to maximize safety, preserve the mission and the hardware, so we're able to do that. All right, that was then. This is now Flight 13's second attempt. So things are looking really good at the moment. Just behind me here is the Launch Control Center. Everybody's on console, looking at the systems on board the vehicle and on the pad as we count down to liftoff. Propellant load is underway. We slipped a little bit into our window as we waited for some last couple of things to settle out, and we are targeting a liftoff at 5:51 p.m. Central Time. Weather today, you can see we've got blue skies. We're going to do a little weather corner here for a second because we were originally attempting to fly yesterday, and we didn't because of, we said, weather. I want to be clear, the cause of not flying was visibility. It had nothing to do with launch weather constraints. One of the key goals of this flight is to get very clear imagery of the tiles on Starship as we're flying it at a higher dynamic pressure. You can't do that when you have clouds completely obscuring your view through all of those critical phases of ascent. We're actually capable and legally allowed to launch into lightning because we've done a ton of testing, unique testing, analysis, studying aircraft capabilities, and it's designed because that's ultimately the cadence we want to fly at, like an airplane. We're going to utilize that new capability carefully, but We're very aware. If we want to fly Starship as often as you could fly an airplane, you're going to have to fly in weather that historically would keep rockets on the ground. So we're doing that analysis, we're doing that testing to prepare for the future. Aside from weather, we're watching the range, both in the Gulf right here off Starbase and in the Indian Ocean. That's currently green. We are not tracking any vehicle or pad issues that will preclude a launch today. Speaking of the pad, that launch infrastructure, it's every bit as complicated as the rocket itself. It's designed to operate in some of the most extreme conditions on Earth. In case you missed it, we had some pretty cool insight into what it takes to launch the most powerful rocket on the planet in the second episode of our ongoing documentary, Starship.
When we're only a week out from flight, my main focus is getting into flight. The thing that separates us from a lot of other companies is that we test fast and we test often, and that includes launches. We want to make sure the vehicle's all ready to go, we want to make sure the ground's all ready to go, but we also don't want to be caught in analysis paralysis.
Our main objective today is a 10-engine static fighter. Onboard. On LVN1, looks like we kicked out due to 2 combustors from the apex being pelted.
There was a pad side abort called. These things were holding like 5,000–6,000 tons of propellant plus the rocket weight. And it's like, okay, well, why didn't you guys simulate that? It's like, well, because we didn't have anything that weighed that much. Like, this is the first time we put anything on it that weighed that much. So there's just so much that you have to think about and be very paranoid on.
We kicked out early. All teams triage alerts, prepare for offload.
We actually had another pad abort on the diverter.
Basically, right during engine firing, it was so much noise and vibration that it actually shook the sensors that are located out in this area enough that they were aborted us out of the test. We went back, obviously, afterwards and looked at all the data and tried to come up with smarter ways to basically still protect the integrity of the diverter throughout the operation while changing our parameters so that we were making sure that we would not abort again.
A flame diverter is like a super simple concept that is like not at all complicated in operation and is just absolutely murderous in the details. These are extremely sophisticated thermal load sensing devices. If they turn into melted metal slag, then you know that you got too much heat. If you melt this, you're hotter than aluminum melts. If you melt this, you're hotter than zinc melts. If you melt this, you're hotter than copper melts. If you melt this, you're hotter than Sharpie melts. So we're sub-Sharpie. We have all of this mass flow, all of this energy that is just absolutely trying to obliterate our pad. We want to give it a thing to obliterate to keep from obliterating the things that we care about. And the thing we give it is water. The amount of energy that water can absorb is like miraculous. And so if you can get high enough pressure water in the right places and just allow it to flash boil that water, then it solves a lot of the problems for you. Like the idea is that the steel never gets that hot, the structures never get that hot, because the water absorbs all that energy, turns to steam, and everything's okay.
That is a lot of water.
So for this flame deflector on pad 2, we're sitting somewhere in the neighborhood of about 650,000 gallons per minute. That's approximately in the range of about like one entire Olympic swimming pool being drained in the course of a minute.
You're trying to look into this thing and you see how like glowing hot it is. It's just yeah, a pretty impossible environment to keep something happy in. But and you zoom in and the flame deflector's still there, so that's the reason we build those things.
Putting the rocket into human terms is something really tough. 65,000 pounds per second of propellant that is coming out of the engines. And again, just like 18 million pounds of thrust, like what does that number mean? I think of like 11 Ford F-150 trucks per second just zipping out of the bottom of the rocket. It's like imagine if you had the world's biggest machine gun, except for instead of shooting bullets, it was shooting pickup trucks, and it's just firing 11 pickup trucks per second out of the bottom of the rocket. It's like, do you think your stuff could survive that?
And it is so satisfying to watch the slow motion flame diverter shots.
Right, and just hear all the exciting stories of how we tackle these problems out here in Starbase. Super exciting.
Yeah. And by the way, if that looks like fun to you, come join our team. We are seeking scrappy problem solvers to help us build the future. Okay, let's go meet the rocket out on the pad, Starship version 3. It's the most powerful rocket ever developed and ever flown.
And it's also the tallest at just over 407 feet tall, fully stacked. It is massive. Standing at the base and looking up is like looking up at a 40-story building. Incredible.
Yes, it's a two-stage rocket. Both stages are designed to return to Earth and fly again, making that thing that you see on your screen the first fully reusable rocket ever. The bottom half, or the first stage, is the Super Heavy booster. That's the silver part. It's powered by 33 of our newest iteration, you see them there on your screen now, Raptor 3 engines. They run on liquid methane and oxygen, and this version of Raptor provides a significant increase in thrust. With that additional thrust, as you can see here by these comparisons, the version that we're launching today, version 3 on the far right, that version of Starship gets off the pad much faster than our previous versions. The one on the far left I believe is actually our Flight 1 footage, and in comparison, they really just go.
Yep. And now Super Heavy has 3 grid fins, which you can think of as aerodynamic rudders. You see them on your screen now. They help steer during landing. They're 50% larger than on previous booster versions and are designed to support rapid reuse and a more stable atmospheric reentry.
I love that shot there. And at the top of the booster, we've got the hot stage adapter. It's designed to protect the booster during separation, and now it's fully integrated for reusability.
And stacked right above that is our upper stage of the rocket, or stage 2. It's what we call ship. It's powered by 6 Raptor engines, 3 optimized to sea level performance, and 3 for the vacuum of space.
Ship's design could one day enable point-to-point transfer on Earth, meaning you could travel anywhere on the planet in an hour or less. Sounds pretty great to me.
Sounds awesome.
It's designed to carry massive orbital payloads, both cargo and crew, to Earth orbit, the Moon, Mars, and beyond.
And for the first time, we are carrying real Starlink V3 satellites to space. For more on that, let's head out to California, where Tyler is standing by with the team in Hawthorne. How's it going, Tyler?
We're doing great over here, Nate. Thank you both. I'm Tyler Lionquist, and I'm a Starlink business analyst here at SpaceX. Now, for those of you who have been following along, the Starlink version 3 satellites have been designed to take full advantage of Starship's payload capacity. And we're going to get our first look at those satellites today. The Starlink V3 is our next-gen satellite, and it includes meaningful increases in capacity, data density, and power generation. So we'll be adding around 20 times the capacity into the constellation on each Starship mission as compared to the version 2 satellites that we launch on Falcon. And that means that we'll be able to serve more people all around the world and with increasingly better high-speed internet. Like all Starlink satellites, the V3s are built at Starlink's site in Redmond, Washington, where we already build more satellites than anyone else in the world today. Now, the V3 sats are designed to support 1 terabit per second of downlink and 160 gigabits per second of uplink capacity. That's approximately a 10 times improvement in downlink capacity and around a 22 times increase in uplink capacity from the version 2 Starlink satellite. Serving this capacity to and from customers are the satellite's upgraded phased array antennas. The upgraded phased arrays are fed by SpaceX's in-house developed chips that were designed to serve customers more efficiently in both densely and sparsely populated regions simultaneously. And each Starlink V3 satellite is also equipped with 6 high-capacity 400 gigabit space lasers. Now, these 6 lasers will allow high-bandwidth traffic to flow uninterrupted between any 2 points in the world with redundant paths across a petabit laser mesh network. And if that wasn't enough, the V3s will carry 4 quad-band radio frequency backhaul antennas. And these will take advantage of the Ka, E, V, and W communication bands, allowing for an 8 times improvement in supported capacity compared to the V2 sats. And that's a lot of growth in capacity and capability. And as such, the new satellite design requires more power. So the solar arrays on V3 will generate approximately twice as much power as the current arrays that we fly on the V2 satellites. And they're also optimized to reduce drag in the lower orbital altitudes in which these new satellites will operate. But before we operationalize these satellites, we want to put them in a flight-like environment. These satellites were loaded into Starship last week ahead of that first attempt. And once deployed, the Starlink team will only have about 20 minutes of flight to speed run some of these tests before the sat's demise in the atmosphere. The team will attempt to run tests such as extending the new solar arrays and antennas, connecting with ground stations, and turning on the satellite's communication systems. And this is all part of SpaceX's iterative process to technology advancement. From the very beginning, Starlink was designed to scale rapidly and improve continuously. From production to launch and ground infrastructure, Starlink is uniquely positioned to keep pace with rising demand around the world. In fact, just last week, we rolled out the next generation Starlink kit, the V5, which is built for reliable, high-speed home internet.
All right, you heard from Tyler. A lot of work going on with Starlink. We've also started development on an entirely new satellite constellation, StarMind, our AI satellites. I got to sit down with Elon and Starlink's director of satellite engineering, Ian Dahl. We covered a whole bunch of stuff, really focused on what are the 3 limiting factors to making data centers in space a reality. First one we talked about was mass to orbit. That's where Starship comes in. We're going to need megatons into low Earth orbit, and we're going to be combining its full reusability and the really big payload capacity to launch the number of satellites that we're talking about, because we plan to deploy up to 1 million AI satellites, and those are going to function as those orbital data centers using Starship for the high volume, low cost launches. A couple of really key reasons why moving data centers to space has advantages over building them here on Earth, which gets into our second limiting factor, which is power generation. It's always sunny in space. Satellites can harness that sun, that near constant solar energy, which is really going to be the only way to scale if AI continues to grow at the pace that we see, especially when you contrast it with all of the challenges that you have here on Earth. Within about 2 to 3 years, we believe space-based AI compute is going to become the lowest cost option as those launch costs continue to drop and Earth-based constraints continue to grow. It's going to just transform how Earth powers AI, unlocks the future. And then our third limiting factor that we got to go figure out is going to be chips, and we got to do that fast. And that's what we're doing with TerraFab. That's going to be the most epic chip building effort ever. Not just churning out really cool advanced chips, but also building a massive scale location to do it. We're talking 100 million square feet, so about 10 Tesla gigafactories. All of this together sounds a bit fantastical, a bit out there, but these are real steps that we are taking right now that are going to set us up to eventually become a galactic civilization. That sounds really cool. I mean, harnessing meaningful amounts of power from the sun, supporting all of those AI applications that are going to change our daily lives, and making humanity a multi-planetary species. If you want to learn more, you can watch the full conversation on our website. Hopefully a link appears on the screen. If not, go look up StarMind. So the future is looking pretty sweet, but first things first, we've got Flight 13 ahead. Let's jump down to Kate and Nate for what's ahead.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, the future is built on progressive steps like today's test. So let's dive into the flight profile that we're going to see today.
That's right. We've got an exciting day in store. So starting with liftoff, Super Heavy will ignite those 33 Raptor 3 engines right off of Pad 2 here in Starbase. We will then power through ascent ahead of hot stage separation, where the booster will shut down all but 5 engines at the bottom. Stage 2 will then light its own Raptor engines, pushing off from Super Heavy and starting our stage separation maneuver known as hot staging. We will then have the directional booster flip using 33 engines, and after coasting for a few minutes, the booster today will target a landing burn and ocean splashdown a few miles off the coast of Starbase.
Ship is going to keep the party going with its ascent burn to a suborbital trajectory, followed by deployment of those 20 Starlink V3 satellites. We also plan to relight a single Raptor engine. Reentry is just a few minutes later, which should provide some amazing views thanks to Starlink. And typically we see some pretty fantastic views of the ship's blistering reentry through the Earth's atmosphere. A plasma blanket will form around the vehicle and never prevails to provide epic scenes. And lastly, we'll conclude today's test with a landing flip, a landing burn, and a splashdown in the Indian Ocean. And with that, let's kick it over to Dan for a countdown update.
Thanks, Kate. Good news. We just heard from the flight director. We are T-minus 10 minutes. We're a little bit past that now, not tracking any issues for launch today. Range continues to be green. Our range team hard at work, making sure we're clear out in the Gulf and in the Indian Ocean where we're going to be sending the Starship. Weather continues to be gorgeous. Again, no clouds. We scrubbed our attempt yesterday, or didn't even try yesterday because we had such poor visibility. Weren't going to be able to see those tiles on the way up. That's a key kind of experiment objective for this flight today. And so we're looking really good with weather today. In the future, we'll see what kind of adverse weather we can fly into. We are capable and allowed to launch into lightning, but we're going to utilize that new capability carefully as we eventually continue to evolve Starship to fly it at an airplane-like cadence. You can see the prop load there on your screen. We're just about closed out on the main tanks on the ship. We just started propellant load in the header tanks on Starship. Those are the two smaller ones up top that we'll hopefully be using for the in-space burn and a landing burn at the end of its mission. We started loading our propellant at about T-minus 35 minutes today, and we're going to continue all the way down until we're inside 3 minutes to launch. We'll close out at about T-minus 2 minutes and 50 seconds on booster, and then 2 minutes and 10 seconds on the ship. So at the moment, we're looking good. That launch time, 5:51 p.m. Central, a couple of minutes into our window today. So we'll be back real soon. Toss it back down to Kate and
Almost
Nate.
99%.
Thanks,
Locks
Dan.
already loaded.
Recently, NASA announced the astronauts for the upcoming Artemis 3 mission. The Artemis 3 mission is a crewed demonstration mission in low Earth orbit designed to demonstrate critical systems needed for future lunar landings. Astronauts Andre Douglas, Luca Parmitano, Randy Bresnik, and
Does that
Frank
guy not
Rubio,
look like
as
Jeff
seen
Bezos?
there on your
Come on.
screen. They will crew the mission,
he
and
does.
it's slated for 2027.
It's a great crew, and it's also the penultimate mission, the final test before Artemis 4 attempts to put astronaut boots back on the moon for the first time since 1972. We'll be launching a Starship with a docking port on the nose so we can practice rendezvous and docking with the crew. And one key test objective comes after docking, where we will be able to test out maneuverability of the vehicles together while in space. This has the new importance as the revamped plan for lunar landings use Starship to do the burn, sending astronauts to the moon from Earth orbit.
And one other cool ad, NASA is putting 2 SpaceX mini lasers on Orion to connect it to our Starlink constellation.
Finally.
With the goal of enabling 4K imagery and video from the spacecraft while
They should
in
have done
space.
that last
So
time.
that's going to be pretty awesome to see.
Awesome views for sure.
Yeah, there's lots of excitement planned for next year as we all work together to send humans back to the moon. And speaking of sending humans to space, former SpaceXer and current NASA astronaut Anil Menon is actually up on the space station right now as part of Expedition 74. And he captured these sweet photos of Starbase during an ISS flyover. Hi, Anil.
cool.
We're all waving back at you, buddy. It's awesome to see the whole picture here as there's lots of facility and infrastructure development going on. But Starbase isn't alone on that front.
Yeah, it changes every day.
Yeah.
But talking about other locations, work is well underway in Florida to get pads 39A and Slick 37A ready for future Starship launches potentially later this year. Starship launches from Cape Canaveral are key to hit the necessary launch cadence to get back to the moon, build a moon base, head to Mars, all the exciting stuff ahead in the future.
Yeah, exactly. And that future gets closer and closer with tests like today's flight. And with that, we are just under 6 minutes until launch. So that brings us to terminal count. Excitement is definitely gaining traction down here as the crowd is gathering just behind us on the lawn outside. And happy to say, still not a cloud in the sky. Dan, how are things up at Mission Control?
Things are still looking really good, Kate. We are still not tracking any holds on the board, no issues with the vehicle or with the pad. Our range continues to be green, both in the Gulf and out in the Indian Ocean for flight today. We'll continue monitoring that all the way down to the final minutes. We are going to be closing out our propellant loading on the booster and the ship within the next 3 minutes. We're going to have about 11.5 million pounds of liquid oxygen and liquid methane on both of those stages once we're all done. Then it'll be time for the pad to essentially ready itself, where we clear out all of the prop that's been flowing through feed lines up into the launch mount, up into the tower. Those go back into the propellant farm, get it ready, and we'll do those final thrust vector control, those steering checks as we get a little bit closer. If we need to hold that hold time, it's new for this launch, and we saw it briefly on our attempt last week. That hold is set at T-minus 60 seconds now. That's where we can pause, we can wait. If we need to just kind of hang out for any pressurizations, anything like that to clear, we've got a couple of minutes to hang there. We will only hold if there's an issue, and we're not tracking any holds on the board right now.
That's right. Now, once T-minus 60 seconds passes, a number of events will occur in rapid succession. Both the ship and booster will configure their comm systems for flight, and they will rapidly run leak checks on gas and fluid tanks. Meanwhile, the booster will be going into internal power, and its engines will get their final priming for launch. Those ship engines will also begin their ascent bleed profile, and it will arm its automatic flight safety system. There's a lot of mechanical activations on the tower side as well, with one critical step being unlatching of the quick disconnect feeding propellant into the ship.
And once T-minus 60 seconds has passed, we still have the ability to rapidly recycle the count under certain conditions back to that T-minus 60 seconds point and hold there to assess what happened and if teams can proceed once again to T0. There's an estimated 5 to 8 minutes of hold time, and that's largely driven by the propellant temperatures that we see on the vehicle while holding. The flame diverter on pad 2, you can see it there at the base of Starship. That activates at T-minus 17 seconds. Now, if we trigger a hold after T-minus 17 seconds, that will result in a scrub for the day, as we've already turned on the water. Now, for those that have just recently tuned in, once again, our primary test objectives for today's test flight includes a successful liftoff, stage separation. We also plan to deploy 20 Starlink V3 satellites. We have real satellites on board. We expect to have about 20 minutes of available time to speed run some tests and really allow the Starlink engineers to put them to the test in that time.
That's right, and we also have the soft splashdowns planned for both the booster and the ship. Going to be super exciting to see if we can return those safely back, so that way we can get ready for tower catches again.
And just a quick check-in, we got our final green light from the range, not tracking any issues on ascent or out in the Indian Ocean for entry, so
T-minus 2 minutes,
kind
folks.
of a final
2
go
minutes.
for flight that we wait for in these final minutes. Prop load now closing out on both vehicles. We have no holds on the board. Again, we've got that gate at T-minus 1 minute. We're only going to hold if there's a reason, and currently there are no reasons.
Now, coming up here in a few seconds, we should have, actually right there we can see on screen, that's the base of the Super Heavy booster. Those are the 33 Raptor engines, and we expect to see and there they go, the TVC checkouts, also known as engine wiggles. We're activating those thrust vector control actuators to ensure that those center engines and the inner radius as well have the ability to steer the rocket.
Yep, super cool to see how fast those move. I mean, in flight, it's amazing to see how it steers the vehicle. And we're coming up on that T-minus 1 minute now on our countdown, so let's listen in to see if we pass that gate.
We are through the gate.
Right now.
Still no holds on the board.
I would love
50
if there
seconds
was
to
a
go.
better way to watch JCristina
Starship
live stream
getting ready to
and
fly.
Advertisement doesn't pop up.
Hit cancel, hit skip the ads. "30 seconds, folks. 30 seconds. This is good. Everything looks perfect.
Flight directors, go for launch.
Go for launch, people. Oh, look, look at the number. Your phone.
We went by it by one.
Yep. 10.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off Starship.
Look at telemetry, lower left-hand corner, all candles are lit. You see them? Every single one is lit. Just keep watching telemetry down there. Hopefully none go out.
Gimbal is pitching downrange. Booster Raptor chamber pressure's nominal.
30 seconds into flight, 33 out of 33 Raptor engines lit on the Super Heavy booster, arcing away from us here at Starbase.
Perfect, perfect, perfect.
Coming up on Max Q, maximum aerodynamic pressure, which again for this flight is going to be higher than it has been on any of our previous Starship flights.
They did that on purpose. They're pushing it harder.
Right, so we're passing through that maximum aerodynamic pressure over a minute now into flight. Still seeing 33 out of 33 Raptor engines lit and burning. Our next major moment's going to be coming up in just a little over a minute from now when we're going to get to hot staging. We're going to shut down all but 5 of those engines on the booster. It's our version of MECO. Most engines cut off. And then we're going to ignite the 6 engines on the ship while it is still attached, to do that separation. As a reminder, we try to do a directional flip, so when you watch on your screen, we're hopefully going to be sending that booster towards the bottom of the frame. For the booster itself, it's like doing a flip up. It'll go towards the bottom of your frame. We do that by lighting the engines in a slightly staggered sequence.
There we go.
Standing
10 seconds to MECO.
staging.
Come on, here we go. Watch telemetry on the right-hand side now.
All but
also.
5 engines down.
There they go. They're lit.
Step.
6 ignite.
Blackburn startup.
It's like a dance. Perfect.
And the booster now doing its boost back burn. It looks like we lit all 33 initially. Now we're down to 13. We're seeing 6 out of 6 Raptors lit on the ship.
Now down to 3. Perfect. 0. There you go.
Blackburn shut down.
Look at the orientation of that booster. See telemetry?
And boost back burn shut
perfect.
down. So it looks like we were able to get through the boost back burn
last
this time around.
It was like this.
It was one of the key objectives we didn't have on the last flight.
Nominal.
And we've got 6 engines lit on the ship.
This is perfect. We're going to see those.
All right, so that's the first of 2 burns that the booster is going to be doing to kind of send it back towards us. It's going to be landing a couple of miles offshore from Starbase, hopefully. We're going to try and get it all the way down to do a landing burn, where we're going to use those 13 center engines. They're going to ignite. That's what's going to really bleed off all that velocity that it's built up. And it'll eventually, hopefully, transition to 5 engines to kind of fine-tune its path in, and then all the way down to 3 for the remaining bit. All right, we've got a couple of minutes to go until we get there. So booster's going to coast for a little bit. Ship still seeing 6 out of 6 Raptor engines lit. 4 minutes into the flight. Ship's got about 4 minutes left. Getting some killer views. Kate, Nate, how was the view from from down there?
It was incredible. I mean, it just shot off the pad, and seeing all the crowd now running back inside to take views on the screen here, it was amazing.
Yeah, one of these days I'm gonna learn to not stare at the engines, because now I have a bright blob in my vision. Now, speaking of vision, we could see both stages there on your screen. Starship's second stage is still firing its engines. You can follow along with that with the GUI down on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Still following the planned flight path as well. Beautiful views of planet Earth there behind the ship.
2 more minutes of burn, and then they're going to go
That's
to
right, and we're actually getting a live shot off the booster right now, an onboard camera. You can see the plume from Starbase where it just lifted off 5 minutes
Starship
ago.
on nominal trajectory.
I know, it's
That's
so
just
crazy.
so crazy, right?
We are there.
We are there. That is us.
I kind of want to run back outside and wave.
Right. Now, again, this booster is not planning to come back to the tower or the launch site for this particular launch. We are going to be planning to do an ocean splashdown just off the coast of Starbase, so hoping to still get some amazing views of that.
Pretty awesome to see the Raptor engines there on the left-hand side of your screen. We can actually see the plume there of those center Raptors. Those are the sea level ones, as well as the vacuum Raptors are the 3 on the larger ones on the outer radius.
Now, just like on tower catches, we are going to be doing a 13-engine landing burn to slow the booster down. Hopefully we can get a live camera of the booster right now as we're going into that phase. Awesome shot. You can see it there. So right now the booster is using their 3 hypersonic grid fins to guide itself through the atmosphere toward its landing site. You can see we're only 5 kilometers above the sea right here.
Startup.
Here we go. This is the booster.
Just heard the call out for landing burn startup for the booster.
There it is. 5 engines
I have a feeling
on.
the crowd's
it's going to
about
drop
to go
back down
wild
to
here.
3. Oh, they didn't drop it.
And another awesome landing for Super Heavy. Congratulations to all the teams here at Starbase and at our SpaceX team. An amazing, amazing view.
Everything continues to go well with ship, as you can see there on your screen.
They'll tell you about it later, but either way, it's all right.
Yeah, we've got about a minute left with the ship engines on. Just looking at the booster real quick, it didn't look like we lit all 13 engines that we were planning for that initial landing burn. We were targeting a softer splashdown.
That's why it hit the
as you
the
saw, it
ocean
came
so
in
hard.
with quite a bit of velocity still. So landing velocity did
they
look
had 5
a little bit
on.
high.
They needed 13. It's just not enough to be able to slow it down.
Really cool to make it all the way back this time to that landing burn. We'll dig in, figure out how to turn on all those engines, and then get to a full landing
turn these
soon.
damn things on?
But all eyes on
I think the
ship.
propellant is. I think it's freezing up.
Just
I think it's freezing
a
up.
little ways away from getting those
Startup
engines
terminal
turned
guidance.
off. We expect it to burn about 8 minutes and change, and so hopefully just about 15 minutes to go. Sounds like we just got the sonic boom
Yeah, we
here
sure
at
did.
Starbase
That was awesome.
from the booster splashdown. And engine shutdown.
There we go. There's your Seiko. Now you have about 8 minutes until they start deploying.
Starship 6
the,
Raptor engines have successfully
version 3
shut down.
satellites. So 8
Nominal
more
orbit
minutes.
insertion.
And there's our call out for nominal orbit insertion. So we got a ship in space. We've got a booster in the Gulf where we were planning to send it. It's a hell of a start to the day, Kate.
Yeah, it sure is. All of our colleagues here are
perfect launch.
filing in through the doors. A lot of people wanted to stay outside and hear the boom. And so it's pretty great to see a ship in space, and everybody's super excited down here.
That's right. And as guaranteed, it has been an awesome day so far. All this action in just 9 minutes now. And objectives are done for the booster. Just want to quickly flag that booster did land in a clear zone. We clear those before launch
crashed
well
in a
ahead
clear zone.
so that we ensure everyone is safe before the launch and after. So we're getting ready
Hey
now
guys, how
for
much you want to bet that
in-space
SpaceX
objectives.
stock
Yeah,
doesn't
we've got
go
a few
up
minutes until
$10
the
at
next
least
milestone.
tomorrow?
So sit
These
tight
are having a
and
really
enjoy
good
the space views
go of
and,
it
of course,
today.
the space jams. We'll be back here at T plus 14 minutes to deploy our payload, which is
Nice.
20
Yes,
of our
Pez
newest
dispenser.
Starlink version 3 satellites. So we'll see
Yes.
you soon.
All right, there we go. I'm going to turn them back, their music. If I don't turn it down, then of course the YouTube gods will be very upset with us. But yeah, so at plus 16 minutes, 1640, right around there, we're going to see the door open up on the Pez dispenser. And then we're going to see it slowly launch out 20 of the version 3 satellites. So these are the real deals. They're not duds. They're not dummy satellites like they used to have or they used to use. You know, they had these mass simulators is what they used to call them. They were dummy satellites. These are actually the real deals. These are the version 3s. Once again, they're going to open up the antennas. They're going to open up the solar panels. They're going to connect through their laser links with other satellites with the Starlink network. So they're going to be running a series of tests as fast as they can because, like I said before launch,
Oh, look, is there a curvature?
they're only no, the Earth's flat. That's not real. So they're gonna go as fast as they can to be able to do as many tests as they can with these Starlink satellites before they enter back into the Earth's atmosphere and burn up. So they have about 20 minutes in totality, maybe 25 max.
About where is it
and
on
that's
the
it.
map right now?
They're going to the Indian Ocean, so
Okay.
that's where they're going right now. That's where they're going to land. So in let me see, T minus, hang in there, guys. 6 minutes, T minus 5.5 minutes. We're going to see that Pez dispenser open up and those satellites launch out. Those satellites, 6 of those satellites do have HD cameras on them. 6. That means they're going to be taking imagery of the belly of the Starship from outside of the ship as they're being launched out. So I'm looking forward to that. That's really pretty cool. That is pretty cool. They're also going to have stuff that we're probably not going to see, like heat cameras, like infrared and a lot of other things to see what kind of temperatures, where is the hottest area on the ships and stuff like this. They're going to look at a lot of different things. But this is going to be, you know, this is big. This is really big because it's right on the cusp of them actually launching these things for real and putting them on orbit. And then we actually get the faster speeds, lower latency, and all the rest of this stuff. But these can never go to orbit because, once again, the ship is only traveling at 16,500 miles per hour. And the only way to break Earth's gravity as well as atmospheric drag is to go 17,500 miles per hour. So about 1,000 miles per hour, too slow to be able to stay in orbit. And they're doing that obviously on purpose because they don't want Starship to stay in orbit. That's why it's suborbital, so this way they land in the Indian Ocean. That's the trajectory. So hopefully the Starship lands in the Indian Ocean the way it did last time, nice and softly, and doesn't go and dig themselves a hole into the Gulf like the Super Heavy just did. But either which way, they were only able to light 5 of the 13 engines they wanted to light. It is what it is. But when I was watching telemetry, I didn't see any more light. So it was 5 and that's it. It's not like one came on and then sputtered off or a few came on and then sputtered off. There was nothing. They were just dead. So it's almost like the ones that were on before, they came back online, but then the other ones, I have a funny feeling that they're going to end up having to retool the Raptor 3 engines. I think they've done a lot with software to keep things from freezing up internally. That's just my personal opinion. I don't work for these people. So I think that there's something going on when it comes to the movement of propellant internal to these engines that is the problem. And there's only one fix, and that's actually to retool and to reprint. Because remember, these Raptor engines, a lot of them, let's say a good majority of it is being printed. These are 3D printed engines. That's how they can put all that spaghetti lines of work, all the old, if you look at an old Raptor engine, compare it to the current Raptor engine, it's like night and day. One has like nothing, like the new ones, like now, like Star Trek, and the old ones were like spaghetti on the outside. So they're just going to have to do a little bit more work in my personal opinion. But we'll see what ends up happening. So we're currently at T plus 14. At T plus right around 16, 16, 30, somewhere on there. That's when the PEZ dispenser is going to open.
Really quick, the blurs that we're seeing.
Ascent, as well as a ship ignition and stage separation. It was literally picture perfect from here at Starbase.
Picture perfect. And then we continued with that booster hot stage separation. Amazing to see some live replays of that. Of course, the booster performing its own boost back and landing.
Yeah, ship continued for about 8 minutes with all 6 of its engines and made it to second engine cutoff, where we heard good orbital insertion, and we've been coasting in space for the last few minutes. Now we're getting ready to deploy our very first real Starlink version 3 satellites. The door will be opening here in just about 6 seconds from now. Now we won't have the same views as we did on Flight 12 of our payload. We don't have those cameras on board these Starship version 3s. That was a Dodger Dog exclusive, but we will be able to see them deploy from the ship.
Oh. So SpaceX is going a little bit more tight-lipped with some of their stuff, I noticed. It used to be like very, very open.
As Kate said, we should see the door open up really soon. If we
think it's open already,
gotten it open already.
Yeah, it looks like it's open.
We've got 20 of these Starlink V3 satellites. Looks like the PEZ door is open.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
And so, this is the first time we've got Starlink V3 satellites getting ready to go into space. And I mean, these things are really just kind of crazy upgrades that they're going to bring to the network, where you start talking about just symmetric gigabit speeds through the Starlink network pretty much anywhere on the planet that this is going to unlock. So really exciting. These satellites are only going to be in space for about 20 minutes. Sorry about that. These will only be in space for about 20 minutes, as they're on the same suborbital trajectory as Starship itself. This is essentially just giving us a chance to try and run as many tests as possible, deploy the solar arrays, antennas, whatever we can on these vehicles. We are intentionally being a little scrappy with it. They might be playing some bumper cars once they're out of the door, but we are looking to get these deployed over the next couple of minutes. In the meantime, they're getting ready to also do the Raptor in-space relight. Listening to a little bit of conversation on that, but we are currently tracking to do it. I'll give you some updates if we hear otherwise.
There we go. I thought we weren't going to see it.
You can see our first Starlink V3 getting deployed out of Starship.
No, it's right there.
Huge milestone for the team out here.
Okay.
Yeah,
you see it coming out on the right-hand side? Right there, you can see it coming out the little slit, the PEZ dispenser.
Out with deployment assisted by the PEZ dispenser. Now, this version of Starship is built to deploy up to 60 of these more advanced Starlink version 3 satellites. Each V3 is designed to offer 1 terabit per second of downlink capacity. Now, let's put that into Falcon 9 terms real quick. A Starship launch with V3 satellites will launch 20 times the capacity into the constellation as a single launch of V2 satellites on Falcon 9. Just incredible.
And anybody that follows Starship, you know that the views that we're being treated to right now, the views we get during those reentries, that's made possible by Starlink. It's given us just this unprecedented look into Starship as it's flying through space, hurtling through the atmosphere. It's powering the dozens of cameras we have on board. It's giving us real-time data on every system that's telemetered on board that vehicle in real time. We use the exact same constellation to power all of our cameras that we have out in the field here in the Indian Ocean. So really powerful technology for just connecting you no matter where the heck you are on the planet, off the planet. So thank you, Starlink, for letting me watch this stuff as we fly through space. It's pretty awesome. We get about 240 megabits per second of data rate off Starship, which everybody
We're
in
going
the
to see
spaceflight community knows
the
that's pretty
outside of the
insane
ship in
when
just a
you're
moment.
usually
Once
dealing with
those
single digits.
satellites come out that
on
have
some
the
of the
6
older
cameras
systems.
on board, right? The 6 satellites.
Gives you a lot of
they also
insight,
have
gives you a lot of
lights.
ability
So
to just
we're gonna be able
rapidly
to see
iterate, know
the
what the heck
belly
happened
of the ship.
when things go
So
wrong.
hang
But
tight for that. That should be a
looks like
really
we're
cool.
seeing
cool
some more
look.
satellites get out the door. We do have cameras on some of them.
6 of
The
them.
last couple that are going to go out are going to try and do the heat shield imaging that we attempted last flight. We don't have that camera view that we got on Flight 12 where you kind of see the satellite leaving Starship. Those aren't on the V3 satellites. But we are going to, on the last couple that go out, have some pretty narrow field view cameras that are going to be looking back at Starship, turn on some flashlights. And this is a test of a capability that we're really going to want when we start doing orbital flights, to just add that extra layer of safety, that extra layer of reliability, where we're going to be able to image Starship's heat shield after it's gone through ascent, after it's been in space, before it re-enters. So we're going to try to test that again today. The heat shield imaging, we didn't get a whole lot last time. Ooh, looks like we got some thunderstorms on planet Earth below us. But a couple more satellites to go, it looks like.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome to see our V3s in space. I want to give a shout out to our Starlink colleagues. And we expect payload deploy to run until about 27.5 minutes, so about another 7 minutes here. The Starlink team will be attempting to speedrun these tests, or excuse me, speedrun test these version 3 satellites, where they will attempt to do a few tests such as extend the new solar arrays and antennas. They're also going to try and connect these V3 satellites with ground stations and turn on the satellite's communication systems. Now, they're only going to have about 20 minutes or so to do all of this, as these satellites only have that long before they demise in the atmosphere or break up due to that friction when they re-enter the atmosphere. So what we learn from today's deployment will help progress and move the program forward, which is super exciting. You could basically say that the payload's payload is data.
That's right.
We're getting very Inception here. Now, in addition to those tests for Starlink, for the Starlink team, as Dan mentioned, 6 of the satellites have been modified with engineering cameras to help scan Starship's heat shield. That will help inform our analysis of Starship's readiness for future catch returns back here at our launch site. So for those that might be unfamiliar, we are currently capable of catching our Super Heavy booster, and we've done that a couple of times. We have not yet attempted to catch our second stage or ship, and so that is going to be a very exciting milestone when that day comes.
For sure, and we're building up to it with today's tests. We are still planning to do our water splashdown in the Indian Ocean, so stay tuned for that. That's only about 40 minutes away. But still, in space, we keep on deploying our Starlink satellites. Again, these are our V3 version of our Starlink satellites, a whole host of added capabilities to our version 2 that's currently in orbit.
There's nothing left. They never hit you.
And this is our team here at Starbase, Texas.
These are all of the team members that have helped build the vehicle, that have built the Pez dispenser,
24.
and got it ready to fly today. Amazing work.
Now, for those of you that have just recently tuned in, there is a spaceship in your screen, we promise. Right now, the ship is in orbital darkness, so we don't have any available sunlight from the sun to help illuminate the scene. But what you can see moving out from that smally lit space, those are the V3 satellites as they are being deployed. And essentially, the ship is illuminated from the inside, and so we're able to see the light come out through the payload door.
Right. Just a really small sliver of light at the top. That's our Pez dispenser. That's how we're both loading our satellites into the rocket and deploying it. It's pretty novel. We've got about 3.5 minutes still left of our payload deploy sequence.
Any minute
It
we should
looks
start
like we've
seeing
got 16 satellites
footage from the
deployed, so 4
outside,
more to go.
looking back at the ship.
These last couple will have those
With
cameras,
flashlights on.
so if you
Be pretty cool.
see any
Hang tight.
sudden bright lights, that'll be flashlights turning on those satellites to try and get some imagery of Starship's heat shield. 17 out the door. 3 more to go, and 18. All right, and while we wait for these last 2, we did confirm we are still go for our Raptor relight demonstration a little bit later in the flight today, so we will be looking to relight one of those Raptor engines on ship. And that'll be our next major milestone after we get through these final 2 satellites.
Hang tight. Those cameras are going to be coming on with the flashlights. This will be a good look. Any minute.
Just at 25 minutes into our flight, it's crazy to think that we're already screaming at 27,000 kilometers an hour, 200 kilometers above the ocean surface. Amazing.
Yeah. Now, for those of you that lost count, we have deployed almost all of our 20 Starlink satellites. I believe our last count was at 18, so we should be seeing 2 more. And we're very excited to see our version 3 satellites in space. And these are fully, these are real satellites. Right. They're not just demonstration sats like we had last time. Yes. These are going to basically have a 20-minute lifespan where our Starlink engineering team will attempt to perform a number of tests and really speed run those tests during that time.
Right. And in terms of satellite lifespans, 20 minutes is it's the shortest you could possibly get, but hopefully in that 20-minute time frame we can really try and ink out as many tests as we can.
It looks like we might have some, this might actually be light from one of the Starlink satellites. As we mentioned before, a few of them, 6 of them actually are equipped with flashlights to look back at Starship as we want to image the heat shield and understand the heat shield performance through the ascent phase, as this information is very important for us to know and understand as we prepare for operations that will enable ship to come back to Starbase for landing, for catch, I should say.
Right.
Let's say they go 700 miles per hour.
We are about 40 seconds away from that planned payload deployment sequence being complete.
The plane goes at
Yep, looks like we've just got those last 2 to go.
16,000.
These ones might be coming out. Oops, they're starting to see motion.
There we go. There we go. Now those flashlights are on. We should see imagery from the satellites.
19 out the door, 1 more.
It looks like we got a crowd at our Hawthorne, California location. Some colleagues gathering outside of mission control there as well.
That marks, if I'm not mistaken, our 20th. So our payload deploy sequence is now complete. Starship will now close its payload bay door and continue to coast around Earth to the Indian Ocean. Still a lot of major events to come today, including our Raptor relight burn at T plus 38 minutes, 58 seconds, followed by atmospheric re-entry, where the heat shield will be put to test, and eventually our splashdown. So with that, we're going to go ahead and go on to another quick coast.
Yeah, so sit tight, enjoy the views, and of course some more space jams, and we will come back here at T plus 37 minutes for our Raptor engine relight and of course Starship re-entry.
This is holy shit, those version 3s work.
better? Better. So most of the tiles, not all, well, I shouldn't say most, but a lot of the tiles have multiple use. So some of those tiles actually have sensors in them to see how much force is being put on them. Some of the tiles actually have heat sensors on them. Here we go. We can see it rotating. So hopefully we get an even better shot, because I know the last time when we had those dummies, the dummy satellites, we saw some real. So here we go. There's an outside shot. Here we go. We will see what ends up. We'll see if they have like that far away distant shot. These are not them. So hang tight. We'll see if they do it or not. But I see all those all the lights. So right now it's in the dark. As we get closer and closer to the Indian Ocean, you'll see the sun come up and you'll be able to see things better. Right now everything's dark. The reason why the ship is lit is because those satellites are actually pointing those lights at the ship right now. But not just to take pictures of the outside, but there's thermal cameras on board also taking readings of different tiles and how hot they are and how hot each section is and so on and so forth. They're also reviewing the tiles. Is anything missing? Anything broke? Is there any kind of problems at all? See, if the space shuttle had this way back when, one of the space shuttles wouldn't have blown up, is they would have knew that there was tiles missing, right? They didn't have a means of seeing the outside of the ship. Here, they actually do, which is really kind of interesting. So moving forward, these satellites, once again, are going to be there for like 20 minutes in total, and then they're going to burn up, and that's it. I wish they would show some pictures from far from the ship so you can actually see it like they did last time, but it doesn't look like they're going to do that. They just keep showing this image right here going back and forth. That's most likely, this is a flap. They have a camera on, and they're moving it, and you can see the trajectory. Watch that bottom right-hand corner, the telemetry, and you'll see the orientation of the ship. Originally, it was straight up and down, almost 90, something like this, and then it's going to slowly start doing this belly flop type of look. It's doing it already, so it's going to eventually come in this type of fashion with the belly first, obviously, because that's where all the tiles are. If it came in back first, right, or dorsal side, it would just burn up immediately. Obviously, that won't happen. So as of right now, we're looking at possibly getting a shot from outside. I don't see it happening. I don't know why they haven't done it, but it is what it is. Hopefully they do it. But if not, right around 20, I think it's like 38, so it's like, 10 minutes total? So yeah, so if we do the math, like in 6 minutes from now, that's when they're going to relight that Raptor engine. What they'll normally do is they'll go inside the engine bay and you'll actually see it. So we'll see if they do that. Also, when we look at the telemetry, they will show the bottom. Let's say you'll see all of them. You'll see one relight. It'll go hot, like a candle coming on, and then it'll shut off. They need to do that because they need to know that these Raptor 3 engines can relight in zero gravity, in space, with a vacuum, right? You're basically in a vacuum. So hopefully that works. That's very, very important going forward for refueling. It's really important for going to the moon. Relight is a really big deal. So we'll see what happens with that. Once again, this is a flap, I believe, so it's moving. So we didn't get any exterior footage from the satellites. That's really...
No, Real Nikon Lover said it would be awesome to see the 20 satellites make re-entry into atmosphere like falling stars.
Yeah, they burn up so quick. I know people have asked in the past.
Lost Gala was asking.
Yeah,
about that
like if they were going, like, do they make it to the ocean, or they crash land or something? They literally incinerate. They turn into dust. There's nothing left. So, is there chemicals left in the atmosphere? Yes. People said, well, isn't that bad for the atmosphere? It is bad if there was like 1 million of them, but a few of them, it's like putting a drop of, let's say, red dye, but in the ocean instead of putting it into a glass, right? It's just so massive, so big. It's like a grain of sand on a beach. You really won't tell the difference. I know it's like always, people have this misconception. just like these things are going to start falling on your head. There's no way for them to fall on your head. So now, conversely, some of the parts of the ISS, if they don't do that production right, when they end up eventually decommissioning the ISS, some of those parts are pretty resilient. And they're going to have to make sure that they come into an ocean-tight setting, and just in case some doesn't burn up all the way. But these satellites, they're literally designed to completely incinerate. So.
Okay, so.
Oh, and someone asked, why doesn't an airplane incinerate? Well, the difference between an airplane going up high and one of these is the airplane is traveling at, let's say, Mach, right? Let's say 700, 800 miles per hour, like max, you know, so let's just say even 1,000 miles per hour. These are traveling at about 16,500 miles per hour. There's a little bit of a disparity, right? So they're traveling so fast, they heat up. And matter of fact, when you see the Starship come in, if you've never seen this before, you will see it slowly start getting brighter and brighter and brighter until finally plasma is pouring off the thing. And during that time, when the entire ship gets engulfed with the plasma, we will lose radio contact, right? So you'll see the imagery go away, they don't come back, and they'll go away and come back, that type of thing. And that's due to the plasma. It creates a massive magnetic field, like your RF, your radio frequency just gets completely out of whack. Let me see if they're back yet or if we still have music. No, we're still got music. All right.
Okay, so.
Questions?
Unplugged my last comic, Super Chat. I believe in Elon and, well, maybe Joe also.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much for being here.
He's a real smarty pants.
Hey, there you go. My book. Go take a look at the book. Go get the book. Get the book. Yeah, so that's one of the things I've been working on is my book, right?
Because you're a smarty pants.
Because I'm a smarty pants, right? Because I'm a smarty pants. So yeah, I've been working on that for a while. That's the Truth Engine. That's local AI. Build it yourself.
Talking
20
about
minutes.
AI,
Yeah.
Russell Ingram said Alexa is still saying I'm wrong with Starship 13 never took off. It's scrubbed because Alexa says it never launched.
You know what, guys? That's the case. I mean, I don't know what else can you say? I work with AI daily. Sometimes I'm working with it until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning because I'm a dork, right? That's what I do. And if I can explain to you how bad it is, all of these corporate AIs, it's just, if you look at some of my videos, you'll actually see me do side-by-side comparisons to the Truth Engine that I built compared to like Claude or ChatGPT, and you'll be amazed. You would be amazed at the nonsense.
Our Starlink team.
Oh, they're back.
We're so thrilled.
Here we go.
Huge milestone, and that's only 3 minutes or 5 minutes after deploying them. I mean, that's crazy.
Amazing. And right now, we are expecting a relight of a single Raptor engine, and that's going to be coming up in just over a minute and a half from now.
Yep.
That's right. We are going to be lighting one of our sea-level Raptor engines, and this is essentially just a demonstration that you can relight an engine after it's already done its ascent burn. And this is going to be really important when we do maneuvers for orbital missions, whether we're relighting to go into orbit, or if you're already in orbit and you're getting ready to do a deorbit burn. We did hear our Raptor team is go for the engine relight, so not going to be skipping it on this one. So we should see that coming up in just about 45 seconds from now. Again, this is not a deorbit burn for this ship. We are on a suborbital trajectory, so this Starship is coming back over the Indian Ocean no matter what. But this is going to be a pretty critical test for what we'll eventually need to do when we do orbital missions. When you got to relight those engines, do a burn to get yourself out of orbit. One thing that is unique on this one is we're going to be lighting it for a little bit longer of a time. We're expecting this burn to be up to about 14 seconds. We've only done about 3 seconds previously. And so that should be coming up within the next couple of seconds. Let's stand by.
Relight demo startup.
It almost looks fake.
You see relight there on your screen.
Wow.
There it is. So that's a big
And
success
confirmation
right
over the net. Relight shutdown. The burn has ended. Congrats to the team on this milestone. I mean, it's crazy to see how we can maneuver in space, and just another icing on the cake for today's mission.
If they land this thing
we're
in
going
the
to be
Indian
taking
Ocean
another quick
perfectly-
break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes before
Another break.
re-entry, which is targeted for about T plus 47 minutes. So we'll see you soon.
So we have about 10 minutes before it actually. Let's go ahead and turn them down. So, like I said before earlier, if they end up sticking the landing, even though they drilled the Super Heavy into the Gulf, because 13 engines didn't light, only 5, so it was a little nasty, but it is what it is. If they land, they stick the landing here on the Starship, that'll be twice now. So remember, this is the Block 3. This is a brand new combined Super Heavy as well as Starship. It's brand new, right? They have already caught the version 2. This is the version 3, so it's brand new. And this is why they're doing this testing before they try to catch it. Because imagine if they tried catching the Super Heavy and the damn thing just drilled itself into the pad. So obviously they need to get that relight down. So what I was saying was that if they stick the landing, how much you guys want to bet that SpaceX stock doesn't go up 10, 20 bucks tomorrow? When I say
That's
tomorrow,
what
on
everybody was
Monday.
talking about.
So yeah, I believe it. I believe it. So because if you think about it, the majority of people that watch this, right, they see the Super Heavy come back into the Gulf. To them, it looks like it's just everything is nominal. Everything is the way it should be, right? They don't realize that it just drilled itself into the Gulf. That's why I think it's going to be a big day. I really do think. I think Monday it's going to be bigger than what people think. So we will see what ends up happening.
Okay, Mark Sparks said, I checked 9 engines lit, 13. I immediately went out, then 3 more, bringing it down to 5. Landing boosters. Get on your favorite AI app, everyone, and create and email Joe your best Smarty Pants meme.
I like it.
Yes.
Do it.
Sandra in space. Once they put landing legs on Starship, they should do the first landing in Australian outback on the west coast.
No landing legs. No landing legs. They'll be landing. They'll be caught. The Starship will be caught. There won't be landing legs. So we're at plus 42, right? Plus 42. When about 5 minutes from now, right around plus 47 minutes, that's when we're going to start seeing that re-entry. So about 5 minutes from now. So if you want to get going for a couple minutes.
I'll be back.
So at plus 47, that's when we're going to start seeing that re-entry, and we're going to start seeing that just burn, that just nasty plasma pouring off this thing. So that to me is always fun. Right? It's beautiful. It looks pretty. Also, right now we're seeing like a very dark ship, and the reason being is it's nighttime where it is. But they launch this way so that when they get to the Indian Ocean, it's daytime. Makes sense, right? So this way, their buoys that they have cameras on are able to take a nice, sharp, high-definition image of the ship, Starship, landing in the Indian Ocean. So they do this on purpose so that they get better details. They can look at the ship. They can look at if there's any, let's say, missing tile, or if there's any problems, you could see it, right, in the daytime. When they first started doing this, they were launching later on, and then they were coming back in when it's dark, and now they couldn't see anything. They're like, wait a second, we need to change this launch. All right, we cannot launch. We have to launch at right around the time that they are now because it makes sense, right? So going forward, I'm guessing something either happened or maybe they didn't want to show the outside. Because I didn't see anything besides the lights. We didn't see those beautiful shots of the exterior of the ship through those 6 cameras from the 6 SpaceX Starlink version 3 satellites. So that kind of Kind of is a bummer, but it is what it is. As you can see, the plasma is already starting, and we're at T plus 44. By T plus 47, let's say 3 minutes, it's going to be ablaze. And that's when we start losing some telemetry. Let's see if they're back. No, they're still playing music. Look at the inside of that. There you go. That's amazing, though. They relit that engine. That's a really good sign. They needed to do that because NASA needs to know that they can do that also. Once again, for the moon, for Artemis, and a lot of other things, you have to be able to relight in the vacuum of space, and that's not an easy thing to do. People are like, "Oh yeah, that's shouldn't be a problem. Just turn it back on." It doesn't really work that way, right? I'll go in one day. I'll get into some details on how those things actually relight. It's not like as you would think, but. Anyways, we don't want to get into too craziest. Right now, we're seeing the altitude of about 100 kilometers, and you can see a speed of 26 or 26.7 kilometers per hour. Pretty fast, pretty fast. So what did we do the math of that? What is that, like around 16 or so, 16 and a half, 16,000? Somewhere on there. Let's call it 16,000 miles per hour, 16,500, somewhere on there. So it's going pretty quick, but not fast enough to break free of the Earth's atmosphere. And that's why those Starlink satellites burned up already. They're already gone, right? Or pretty close to being gone, because they're just simply not going fast enough to be able to stay in orbit. You need to go 17,500 miles per hour to be able to stay in orbit. And then you need some propulsion to be able to stay there. If not, you still will get sucked back in. Anyways, so we're at plus 46. Let's see if they come back on.
We'll collect valuable data on the spacecraft flying through the Earth's
about
atmosphere,
another
and it's
minute,
doing so
I
at
guess,
hypersonic speeds, or more than
re-entry.
5 times the speed of sound.
times
Reentry
the speed of
is
sound.
typically a portion of flight where we don't have communications with spacecraft because it's re-entering at or around orbital velocity, which is roughly 8 kilometers per second or about 5 miles per second. So at those speeds, the spacecraft is moving through the atmosphere so fast that it creates a plasma field around the vehicle.
That blanket of plasma distorts communication frequencies, so it's not uncommon to experience brief blackouts in communication. Starship is designed to land on Mars, where there are no runways or other humans to help out, which is exactly why we're testing this landing procedure that we're doing today. And we're doing these propulsive landings instead of more traditional means like parachutes, because propulsive landing...
control of the vehicle.
You heard that call out. Flaps do have control of the vehicle. You can actually see one view, your screen moving around. That's actually a camera affixed to the flap. So as I was saying, we're testing these, doing these landings instead of more traditional means, so that way propulsive landing, we can enable more rapid reusability.
Yeah. Now, we did just hear that call out. We should continue to hear some call outs as the ship makes its way back to Earth.
Keep
Now, when we
watching
hear
that plasma
something
pouring
called
off this
entry
thing.
max heating,
This is pretty.
as well
This is
as
pretty.
entry max Q, that means that the ship has made it through the maximum heating and aerodynamic loads that it experiences as it returns. So safe to say that if it makes it through those specific points, we're doing pretty well.
That's right. So we'll continue to hear multiple callouts as we go through this phase. One of those callouts will be that the ship is transonic. We'll also hear another one when it's subsonic. Transonic will be referring to the period of flight where velocities of airflow surrounding and flowing past the vehicle are concurrently below, at, and above the speed of sound, so somewhere in the range of Mach 0.8 to 1.2. For reference, commercial jets have a range of cruising speeds, but most fly at roughly Mach 0.74, 0.85. Just for reference, that's between 480 miles per hour to 575 miles per hour, or 770 to 930 kilometers an hour. And subsonic, another call out that you'll hear later on in the stream, subsonic will refer to speeds that are much less than the speed of sound. So at this point in flight, the ship's velocity will be slowing down drastically. So with reentry well underway, we'll take another break. and return just before the ship's landing burn, targeted for T plus 1 hour and 5 minutes.
You gotta love the breaks with music.
Are you guys asking me to turn it off? Are you insane? If I touched something here, I would shut down the whole chat, the whole feed. We'd be busted.
She would not. She underestimates herself.
Oh my God. Yeah, because it was playing and because of the music, you didn't want to get the thing, but I don't know how to shut
We're going
that
with
off.
water now instead of energy drink. Is that all right?
Yeah, I'm still on my energy.
All right, guys, watch the
I
plasma
failed.
pouring off, all right? So we're going to lose some imagery, probably. It's going to turn on and off because of RF, or radio frequency, due to the plasma. But in the past, we used to see burn through a lot, where you see flaps start melting and whatnot. If you watch today, I guarantee you there won't be any melting. But we'll watch, we'll make sure. Keep watching the metals, keep watching those flaps. Because those flaps are the ones that take the brunt. So we'll see what ends up happening here. We'll see. So they're at, let me see. Once they come back and you start to see them start rotating, right? They're going to come in like this, belly first. You're going to see telemetry come back down at the bottom, and you'll see those engines. If they light or they don't light, we will see. Last time they had, I think, 3 should be lit, and there was only 2. Hopefully all 3 light up this time. We'll see. So this is going to be an interesting one, because this is going to make the difference, all the difference in the world when it comes to, is this thing going to work? Is it something that they're going to land it on a dime or not? Because even though they're landing in the ocean, they are trying to land it softly in an exact spot. When I say exact, I mean exact to like the centimeter exact. Because when they land back on the pad and get caught with the chopsticks, they can't be off by a foot. They can't be off by 5 feet. They cannot be off at all. It has to land exactly. So same thing with Super Heavy. They drilled it into the ocean. They didn't want to. It should have landed softly in the exact spot that they wanted it to. But all those engines didn't come on like they should have. It kind of is what it is. So hopefully this time, the Starship actually lands where it should. We'll see. But look at that plasma. It gets beautiful sometimes. What do we have here? Super chat. Thank you. Let me see. Doug Jones. Thank you, Doug, for the super chat. Let me see. I've worked I've worked in enterprise premium account. Okay. With Microsoft Copilot account is very helpful. Okay. I'm surprised you like Copilot, but okay. Very helpful. Even my agent I've built, but there is nothing private. That's true. I got your private AI, and I appreciate what you're building. Cheers. I appreciate that. So you're 100% right. The problem with Copilot, the problem with ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, Claude, and all the rest of them is that they're taking your data and they're learning from it, and who knows what else they're doing with it. See, the problem is, like, if you look at ChatGPT, for example, if I ask some questions about a car, if I use my account that I'm not paying for ChatGPT, all of a sudden I'll get advertisements on the bottom of my chat with them for cars. Now, are they selling that information? Yes. Are they selling the actual questions? No, but they're selling me as being a potential customer for a car because I'm talking to ChatGPT about the car. You follow me? There's just so much stuff like that. And if you want to be able to do, like, for example, if you have a lawsuit going on, or if you have, I don't know, a will that you want gone through, or if you have some private documents, your bank information, you know, stocks, whatever, you don't want to put it onto, you know, these corporate AIs so they have this information, right? So that's why I ended up building my own. And literally, it's like 20 minutes, you build it, and then you own it. You know, you have sovereignty. You do whatever the hell you want with it. And the thing is I did a side-by-side comparison with the Truth Engine that I built and ChatGPT in one video, and then I did another video with Claude. Man, Claude's even worse than ChatGPT. If you don't know it, you could ask it questions, and it will lie to you through its teeth. It will tell you stuff that is 100% not the case. Absolutely. It will quote rules and regulations that don't even exist. It will quote laws that don't even exist. It'll say that there's a copyright law and why it can't tell you information that you ask, all kinds of this crazy stuff. And the problem is people believe AI like if it's accurate all the time. And if you are an expert at anything, I don't care what you are, if you're a cook, right? Ask ChatGPT or ask Claude cooking questions, okay? And you will find more times than not it's wrong, okay? I code, I do Python. I can't even tell you how many times this stuff gets this stuff wrong. It's just horrendous. Now, can it build stuff? Yes, but you have to be on it all the time. Anyways, so I built my own, and I'm glad you ended up picking up the Truth Engine because I use it literally every day. That's just, matter of fact, version 3.1 is coming out next week. And since it is a living book, everyone that buys the Truth Engine, they just get the new one every time I update it. So it's already on version 3. It'll be 3.1 as of next week. So all of these people that have bought it ever since the very beginning, they've gotten all of those upgrades.
Coordinator has a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you tried running Truth on Raspberry Pi, or is it not powerful enough?
Yeah, so the Truth Engine, you need to have about 12 gigs of VRAM because it is an AI, right? The sweet spot is 16 gigs. So in my personal opinion, you know, I would stick with that, you know, sweet spot of 12 to 16. You could have it in VRAM on your GPU, or you can use it with unified memory, like if you have an Apple or something. Let's see if they're back yet. I heard music. Nope, still music. All right. But look at that beautiful shot there, guys. Look at that. Is that not absolutely gorgeous?
It's AI generated.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because the Earth is flat. Yeah. So these are the shots that I think are just look at that, just amazing. Now, in the past, we would actually see some burn through happening, and I'm not even looking at it right now. And the reason being is I'm almost certain we're not going to see any burn through on these flaps at all. I mean, it just doesn't happen. Now, every once in a while, you'll see like those little flickers and stuff. That is stuff that kind of burns through a little bit, but it's kind of just it's like little it could be anything, right? Little pieces of stuff. It's nothing to worry about. You will know if this thing burns through. You will see it actually melt. So,
question. Etcha, while on AI, have you watched Nightborn, Neil Blomkamp's AI sci-fi film?
See, there's one. See,
it's an AI generated.
We got to write both of them. That's pretty cool.
That is cool. This is all green screen, Mr. Blunts.
Yes. Look at that flap right there. It is pristine on this backside. You know what they did differently too is they did a wrap. So if you look at the edge, okay, what used to happen is the plasma would wrap around and start burning through the metal. Right now, you can't see it as it's not really up close. There is a full, almost like a bullnose tile that goes all the way around the edge of that flap. So it doesn't melt. I mean, it's just smart. These are engineers. They kind of know what they're doing.
Mr. Blunt said these tiles are meant to shed the plasma, so you will see sperry stuff every now and then.
Yeah. The tile is very soft. Like people think that they're ceramic. They are ceramic, but they're very porous. Okay, more like almost like a wafer, almost like a sponge, almost like a piece of styrofoam or something with like a coating on it. They're very lightweight because if these are like space shuttle tile, which is just like a solid piece of ceramic, this thing would be so heavy. Think about how big this thing is, right? So it's not like that. They are thin. Matter of fact, underneath the tile, they also have let's say a coating, all right? And that coating will burn off. And as it burns, it actually cools the ship. So it's like a multi-layer type of system. That's like a safety. So if a tile pops off, they still have another layer under it. That's let's call it like painted on, right? Which is really kind of interesting. It's kind of cool. So, anyways, but look at the ship. It literally looks brand new. It's like flawless. Like we've seen in the past, and if you've been with me the last couple of times, all the way around that Pez dispenser door, as it comes back into the atmosphere, it literally changed color and it turned into this rainbow, like the stainless steel turned rainbow because it got so hot. So we'll see if that happens again or not. But right now, it's good. It's good.
Okay. Really quick here. You plucked my last comic said I have an AMD Radeon RX 5700 XT and only 8 gigabit, so it can't handle your AI.
Yeah. So an 8 gig will work, but what will happen is under load, it will offload to DRAM, and DRAM is slower than VRAM. If you think about VRAM as being like a connection made through copper, like side by side, in comparison to DRAM where it has to go through your bus, your PCIe bus, which is slow as hell. So whenever you offload to DRAM instead of VRAM, it slows down the AI. So you might go from like 40 words per minute, like just pouring out data, to going like 20. So it's slower. But, it'll still work. But it will offload.
Lonnie or Lonian House? No, Lonnie Newhouse. Sorry.
Lonnie Newhouse.
JCristina is the reason I have Starlink, and it's awesome. I'm so glad I found his YouTube channel. I appreciate your videos.
Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. There's like 800,
John Gomez
I think, now.
said that you should switch over to SpaceX. They should be talking now. We are.
All right, let's take a look. Let's listen.
No.
Nope, we still got...
We have music.
Music.
The music I didn't know how to turn on.
Last time,
now they're talking.
Starship Flight 13, the second flight of Starship version 3.
Look at that speed.
As you can see on your screen with crisp views from Starlink, the ship is currently re-entering the Earth's atmosphere over the Indian Ocean. And really for the last several minutes, we had some amazing Technicolor views. It really looked like it was made out of starlight. Now, we did hear on the nets just moments ago that we made it through max heating and max dynamic pressure, meaning that the vehicle temperature and speeds and pressure are all coming down, and we can see that in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen as that speed continues to decelerate. We're coming up to the ship landing burn, one of pretty much everybody's favorite part of Starship test flight days. And that's going to be coming up here in just about a minute or so.
Here we go.
Just about
This
a minute
is
away.
what we've
We're
been
gonna
waiting
try
for,
and
guys.
light all
The
three
land.
Raptor sea level engines for this burn. We'll light 3, do the flip, We'll eventually go down to 2 as we get close down to the water, down mode to a final 1 engine before we hopefully execute a nice soft splashdown. We'll see if we've got our buoys and drones in range with the recovery team. They're going to be standing by to try and get some additional views of Starship's heat shield, which from kind of our initial looks, it did pretty well on the flight uphill, but we'll continue to dig through all the visual data as we get it. We didn't do any real stress tests or anything on this flight. We did do, you heard our landing Large flight controller call out. We were doing the swoosh maneuver. This is kind of the final maneuver that we plan to have Starships returning to.
They actually did stress test
Starbase
it on the way up.
that will essentially hook them out over the Gulf before coming in and over Tower 2. But about 10 seconds away, look for 3 Raptors, the 3 in the middle, to light up, do a flip. Let's see if we can get this thing in the water.
Watch that telemetry, lower right-hand corner. There's 1, 2, 3. 3 are on.
Pro sea level flip.
There's the flip.
Seeing healthy chamber pressures on. Did our flip
Sweet.
down to 2.
Down to 2.
Starship descending into the Indian Ocean.
And
down
1.
to 1.
So cool. That's amazing. Looks like
And we're in the water.
Just like that.
And it's a soft splashdown in the water.
Wow. Now it should explode. I'm surprised it didn't explode.
That
Wow.
is a first.
That is the first. They always
That is
explode.
the softest splashdown we have ever had with the Starship there in the Indian Ocean.
Oh my
It's
God.
bound to be an
They
exciting
can literally
day for our
like pull the
recovery
thing out.
team.
Normally it's
I
just
mean, that's
fragments.
a huge milestone to even get to soft splashdown,
Oh
much
my
less
God. Look
have
at
the
it.
vehicle stay afloat.
What is that?
Yeah, I will. The teams are super
What the hell happened? That's never happened, guys. Ever, ever, ever. Look at that.
Texas. Everyone's super excited. We never really get to see Starship floating so serenely in the Indian Ocean,
then it goes
so we're certainly enjoying these extended views. Like I said,
I told you,
we're
look
really
at that.
pumped
Everyone,
about this.
max age,
I want to check
23.
in with Tyler. Tyler, how is Hawthorne feeling about Lucky Flight 13?
Hey, Kate, we are so excited about another successful
Man, that
Starship
was
test
amazing.
flight and those gorgeous Starlink views that we had. And we can also confirm that we managed to make contact with all 20 of those V3 sats. So it's a massive day for us. So
Wow.
congratulations
But still,
to
look at
everyone
it.
at the team at Starbase,
Look at this
for
drone
Starlink, everyone
shot.
here and around the company who've contributed to the Starship program as we make progress again towards a multi-planetary future. So thank you everyone for tuning in. That's a goodbye from Hawthorne and back to you guys at Starbase.
Thanks so much, Tyler. Now, for anyone who perhaps missed the action, I suggest that you rewind the clock.
Look
wow.
at that.
Look at that view.
Oh my
of the
God. We've
Starship
never seen that
heat
ever
shield
before.
tiles. You can really see
This is the 13th
atmospheric
that I've been here
re-entry,
for.
how it disperses the heat around the edge of the vehicle. I don't think we've seen quite that close before.
Never. And honestly, however short-lived that ship standing, bobbing in the water is, that is
so. I don't think that,
insane
probably they're not
data
even
for our
ready to
team.
recover.
It's,
Like, I don't know.
unbelievable
Maybe they're gonna
that we
have
were
to
able to
scuttle
keep
it or
that ship
something.
afloat. Now, we
Yeah,
promised
what are they gonna
maximum
do?
excitement,
Drag it?
and Starship
That's what I'm
V3
asking you.
delivered.
I don't know if that's supposed
Congratulations
to happen.
to all of our teammates
That's a lot
at
of new
SpaceX
data to
and to
process,
everyone
right?
who supported the Starship
maybe that's what they
program.
were trying to do.
And
They're
thank
being
you to
hush-hush
all of our
about it.
future customers for your support.
I agree.
Look at
Lost,
that.
Yeah,
Lost Gal
as you can
said
tell,
we
the
should-
crowd
they should put it
really
in a
enjoyed that
museum.
Nemo cam
Right?
for a moment. We'd also like to thank the fine people of Cameron
Brunson
County,
did
as
it
well
being
as the
a
Coast
bullshit.
Guard,
They
the
have
Federal
new bars
Aviation
for
Administration, and the Government of Mexico.
The amazing views do not end, so be sure to follow SpaceX on X
I agree.
for
Specs
updates
of the
and more of
satellites
these
makes it
exciting
incredible.
shots that we didn't get to feature
That's
on
amazing.
today's broadcast.
And to get an inside real-time look into at the teams
Possum
bringing
said
this
blood
incredible
show.
rocket to life,
Jeez.
check out the latest episode of our documentary series, Starship.
Lexington,
And of course,
S40 must
thanks to
have
all
had
of you
Taco Bell
for
last night.
tuning
They had
in.
gas
And
leaking out.
we're going to head back up to Dan for some additional thoughts.
Yeah, I'm losing my mind right now. We are
I don't
still
even-
getting views from on board the ship
Come on,
with
put the
it
views
in the
up.
water.
Look at
like,
this.
That is amazing.
We
That is
have tried in the past
unfreaking
to do these
They're gonna say
splashdowns
it's
as
now
softly
AI
as possible. successful. We experimented with rolls. This is the first time we've put an intact Starship in the water. This is a dream scenario for the team that's trying to get this heat shield data.
Yeah, because the amount of data they're going to be able to get from this
working
now
with
is just crazy.
A slightly charred Starship in the water, and now we have one intact. So the recovery team is moving in with their drones, and that we are still getting views from Starship. It is sending
inside
these via
under the
Starlink
water
from the other side of the world while it is floating in the water after flying through space. This is just completely surreal right now. This is just a mountain of data that we're going to get back.
My God.
This is going to be so critical for refining the heat shield, everything else.
Is going to go through the roof.
The really good news
Monday,
is all of these views that we're seeing, you're looking
at
a pretty intact looking heat shield, which, as a reminder, we were flying at a significantly higher dynamic pressure, so putting way more stress on this vehicle on the way uphill. And it's sitting there in the water, and I mean, look at it. So I'm a little bit over the moon on this. I know a lot of our team
Look at the zoom in on that.
I agree.
See, they're doing that. It's like they can see where there's missing tile. You see, like where you can see like little
computers
spots.
looking at these close-ups that we're getting of these
I
heat
agree
shield
with
tiles.
Lost Gala.
18,000 of them.
Right now.
Oh
I
my
mean, you
God,
can probably
he's
count the ones that are missing
crazy.
right now on one
Yeah,
hand.
you can count the ones that are missing.
This is just absolutely incredible. And the fact that like the cameras on board the ship are still sending back video is just a little bit surreal. So
yeah, that is crazy.
Wow.
It didn't blow up.
Lucky
it
number
didn't
13.
Sink. It's floating. And now they can actually see the belly of it instead of the dorsal side and count the tile.
Really
I mean,
great
you're not getting
for,
any better
for
than
version
that.
3.
And now they'll, like someone said, barge it away. I mean, the amount of data that they're going to get from this is unlike any other test flight
Nate said,
ever before.
We're going to keep releasing more of this. Stay tuned. We've got some really cool stuff from some of the onboards that we caught. So keep following us on X at SpaceX. Whole bunch more cool imagery from launch from the flight that's going to be coming out soon.
Look at that shot.
Yeah, let's just close on that. I mean, look at Starship in the Indian Ocean. That's fantastic. We'll see you all back here for the next flight test of Starship version 3. With that, we'll say goodbye.
Geeky Gardens. Just light up an engine and drive into that portion.
I know, just light an engine. Just light it. Just light it.
That's amazing.
Let me kill their music.
That's really cool. Oh, you mean the one I was leaving on?
Yeah, the one that you're leaving on that we're demonetized forever because they hate us. So
unplugged my last comic. I believe in Elon and Joe, Mr. Smarty Pants.
Thank you so much, guys. That was absolutely unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. And like I said, I've been covering these since the very first one. And it, just so you know, it has never, ever, 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 ever landed without blowing up. It landed, it was still on fire, it didn't blow up, and now it's floating, and they can now do a full assessment on it. The amount, so I've said this for a long time. With Starship, the biggest challenge that Elon Musk has to make a reusable rocket is the same thing that was challenging to the Challenger, to the Discovery, to the Space Shuttle. You remember, guys? If you've been around for a while, you know about the Space Shuttle. And the problem always was with TPS, the thermal protection system, and having to constantly go and replace those damn tiles. And it would take like 8 months before they can launch the Space Shuttle again because of those tiles. Well, when we look at the ship here that just came through, like just plasma pouring off it, right, at 16,000, at just incredible speeds, that there's only a few tiles missing. That is just unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. And now that TPS team is going to be able to take a look at all of those tiles in depth to see exactly where they are, why they were missing. They can look at the underlayment underneath it, right, that substrate, and see how much burn through actually happened, where those tiles that were missing. Because like I was telling you guys before, underneath the tile, there's another thermal protection layer, but it's almost, let's call it like painted on. Its job is actually to melt, and in so doing, create a coolness, let's say. It actually cools when it's melting. So that substrate is supposed to be there to melt. And having it there, now they can go look at it, where those tiles popped off, and look at that and see, did it all melt? Did it only partially melt? Did it completely melt and now started melting the metal underneath it? Or is it fine? And that's going to make a big difference to know exactly how much of that thermal protection is needed in the various areas. So this is really, really big. I wish we were able to see more of the external shots of the SpaceX Starlink version 3s. That would have been ideal for me, but it is what it is, all right? It is what it is. So, moving forward, all right, I think that the only way to look at this is just to say simply wow, right? Wow at this point, because they're moving to a point now where we're going to see the version 3 satellites on orbit. And like I said, I think it's going to be probably fourth quarter of this year. And then moving into 2027, we're going to have those SpaceX Starlink satellite version 3s up there, and everything is going to change. Everyone that has Starlink today, they're going to look at their speeds today and be like, wow, do you remember? You remember when they were slow? So this is going to be really, really big. And what's going to end up happening also is when we start seeing these starships constantly go up there and finally actually deliver things like the new, let's say data centers. I call them nodes because they're actually nodes in a mesh network that's actually going to be a data center, but a mesh data center, not just one. It's going to be a node-based system, like a cluster on how we would build way back in the day, like a token ring network. So it's really, that right there is going to happen most likely probably by the beginning of 2027. We're going to start seeing some of those up there. They might do a demo of that before the end of the year, just one unit, but we will see. We will see. Let me get in here and look at this super chat. Mr. Blunt, thank you so much, Mr. Blunt, with that super chat. Here's to a successful launch 13. SpaceX, a humans to the moon, Godspeed, absolutely. So I would love to see it. And I think what's happening is Elon has kind of changed his look at Mars and understands that Mars is not going to be a direct shot from Earth. Mars is going to be a hop, skip, and a jump from the moon. So I really do believe that they're going to work on colonizing or at least having some fabrication on the moon before we go to Mars. But, maybe not. But when it comes to humans, maybe they'll launch a Starship possibly from our Earth's orbit once they have a mobile gas station up there. If you guys don't know it, they're going to take one of those Starships, they're going to leave it in low Earth orbit, and then they're going to pull another Starship up to it, and they're going to refill it, and then another Starship up to it, and refill it, and another, until this is full. And when it's full, we'll be able to take a Starship, launch up there, and now instead of using it as a refill, dock with it and then refill this one, and then peel off and go to Mars, or peel off and go to the moon. You follow me? So there's going to be a refueling depot. And matter of fact, this version, this Block 3, actually has the hosing or the connectors for connecting to other Starships to be able to refuel and to dock and then fuel in the opposite direction, bidirectionally. So that's a real big thing. That's going to be something that they're going to have to demonstrate most likely this year on orbit refueling, which is huge. That is going to be the difference between getting to Mars or not. Relighting that engine, which they did today, that right there is mission critical also, because if you can't relight an engine in the vacuum of space, you're not getting anywhere. All right, you're not getting anywhere. So they did. So that's good. I do also think going forward that they're going to have to retool these Raptor 3 engines, because I think that they're having a freezing problem. I said that before. I said that when this thing first happened. They talked a little bit about it, just a little bit about it today, but they didn't really get into any kind of details. I think that there's an issue. I think there's a problem that is something that is systemic that they're going to have to fix. And I think that has something to do with the only 5 of the engines lighting on that Super Heavy when it came back instead of 13 or whatever it was. I think that this has something to do with it. So we'll see. No matter what, they're rebuilding these engines all the time anyways to retool and then start that fabrication on the retooled dies, let's call it. They're not really dies because remember, a lot of these engine parts are single, they are created through a 3D printing process in comparison to all separate parts. There is separate parts to it, but just get an understanding that there's a lot of the bigger parts that are literally just 3D printed. 3D printing metal. Metal that is so strong that it can handle plasma pouring off it. You notice these engines don't even have those big heat bells around them, that heat shielding. They don't have it anymore. Why? Because they can handle plasma with no problem. They don't melt. They don't have to worry about it. And they don't have all that spaghetti hosing on the outside of the engines anymore to worry about because all that spaghetti hosing is on the inside of the motor printed into the engine. That's just crazy to me, but that's how they do it. So if there's any questions, put them in there now before we get out of here, and I can
there's a
finally,
lot of stuff, but
finally
you're talking,
feed Fabiola
so
because I'm sure
they're
she's going to start getting hangry, and we don't want her hangry.
All right, first of all, I think this can show you all that I'm past hangry.
There we go. Start.
Okay.
Yes.
This is how I communicate with
That's
my
how
husband.
she communicates with me. She's like,
and
Joe,
you guys are tired of hearing my
I'm
nails
hungry.
typing on the thing.
Joe, feed
I mean,
me.
it's only been like, I don't know how many hours, but I'm here for you guys. I am here till the end.
Feed
ride
me.
or die. So a lot of people are just very thankful for your stream, for the live, and
Thank you
they're
for
tired
being
of
here.
hearing my nails clicking on the keyboard.
No more nails.
Mr. Blunt's, the nails ain't bothering me. Go eat. Let me see. I'm trying. There's a couple of. Tim Gillian said, I could see the shuttle launches in school from the St. Pete area a minute or two after the launch. Have always loved space launches. Seen one Falcon 9 from 12 miles out. Unreal.
Absolutely.
Monty Basin. Thanks, Joe. I am in Botswana, and I saw it come
Wow.
right over my house. What a spectacular view. Could not believe my eyes. If it wasn't for your channel, I would not have known about it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You got to see it. It's really cool. It's really cool. And you saw it not blow up. That's even cooler.
Yeah, that was just crazy. Russell Graham, amazing. Thanks for letting us come along for this ride. JCristina, thank you. Coordinator Fab, you're there to help us beat up Joe too. 200% useful in my opinion. LOL. Let me see. I'm trying to catch up a little bit here.
She hits me all the time underneath here. I sustain a lot of damage on my shins.
But it doesn't
my
matter.
knees,
He keeps going.
But I just keep going because I have to push through the pain
God.
to
The drama.
to tell me to tell you exactly what I'm thinking. And that's hard for me to do sometimes.
Yes. John Diamond, thanks another great launch party and your great insights that you give us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Doug Jones, thank you all for being here. This was awesome launch. More to come from Elon and team. Light that thing.
Guys, subscribe.
Oh, yeah, I've been typing it, but like, share, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down. We'll take it all.
Absolutely.
Whatever. Also, if you are on there, there's like this little hype button that you can swipe on it. Just hype this video. Share the video. If you don't want to like it, that's fine. Share it. Tell people. We're here. People. Tell the people.
Tell the people.
You guys are the real reason I have Starlink. Thanks. That's John Diamond.
That's awesome.
Dwayne Jenkins, have a great evening. Thanks for what you do every day. I'll check out the books. Just an old rookie here. Hey, listen, we're all here.
Yeah. We're all here learning together.
I've learned so much from my husband, but I still obviously not enough. I couldn't shut off the music, so, Mr. Blunts, I think not only the freezing issue, but during launch, I feel the piping and the start of the combustion chambers are getting a little too hot and maybe causing some of the relay failing issues. Sorry.
It's definitely possible. It is possible. But remember, they're brand new. These Raptor 3s, they're brand new. Have they tested them? Yes. But, testing under pristine circumstances is one thing, but when you start relighting after going through extreme heating and then getting into the vacuum of space where you're like negative 270 degrees centigrade, I mean, that's there's stuff to be said here, and you start moving fluid through it and starts freezing, and now all of a sudden you can't move the fluid anymore.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to finish up some last comments and questions. Lost Gala, this is just for you. These are my nails because I don't know, can you see them?
You got to cover your eyes.
What do you mean cover my eyes?
Maybe it'll go now. Sometimes
No.
you lose. I don't know.
Anyways.
Whatever.
I'm sorry. It's got sparkles. Anyways, we were having a chat about that. John Gomez, go and enjoy dinner, fam.
Oh, you know what? Here, I'll do a top down on your nails. There you go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There you go.
Oh, wait.
There they are.
There they are. I know you guys are interested too. Yay. Okay. We appreciate you and Fab's nails. Go and enjoy dinner, fam. From John. Too Tall Steve, it's great to watch you with you guys. Remember the first Mercury launch? OG? LOL, yes. You plucked my last comic. Thank you for staying strong while starved, dear. Lost Gala. Oh, this was. Okay. Who to buy Starlink share through? I use Robinhood. I mean, Fidelity. I thought Robinhood was the easiest. We don't have any affiliation with them, but it just worked.
Yeah, I use Charles Schwab. I use Thinkorswim. I told you guys from the very beginning that I was going to buy SpaceX Starlink. SpaceX stock.
Get it now because it's low, but I don't know. It's going to pop off.
When we bought it, it was like 150. It all went up to like 230, somewhere on there. Now it's back down to like 110 or 112 or something. And I'm okay with it because this is exactly what I predicted that was going to happen. So I also said, if you guys remember, the best time to buy it, if you're going to buy it long term, is once it finally dumps. I think it's going to be under $100 a share, and then it's going to stabilize right around at 180 days because all of the folks that are currently not able to sell their shares will be able to sell the shares by the 180 day, by 6 months. At that point, you're going to see every single share available on the market. That's when it's going to be at its lowest point. That's where if you want to buy for long term, in my personal opinion, don't go by me because I'm not a financial expert. By 6 months, that's the time to buy, and then you can hold it for 5-10 years, and I guarantee you, you're gonna do pretty well. All right, so
Lost Gala, go to Robinhood. It was easier
use
for
Robinhood,
me.
Use whoever. I'm just, I use.
Coinbase is good too.
Whatever.
I just thought it was.
Yeah, I don't know. Does Coinbase even do that? They use Nasdaq and they do.
Dwayne Jenkins said, "I use Coinbase. Kraken is another." Sarah, don't stress over the minor problems the ship had. SpaceX will be over fixing everything. You're stressing about it. Don't panic. All is well.
All
Sarah.
is good. All is good. Yeah, I'm sure Elon is just through the roof. Being able to get a fully intact Starship for the first time in years now, think about it, is just the amount of research they're going to be able to do on that thing is just sick. It is absolutely trust me. You'll hear about it. Don't trust me. You'll hear about it. All right, they'll talk about it. The amount of information that they're going to be able to get because it didn't blow up is just it's going to change a lot, especially on the TPS side, the thermal protection side. They're going to get so much data. They're really things are going to step up. I'm telling you, I could see it. So, any more questions before we get out?
No, you just want me to die.
Okay. No.
Close the stream. Take that lady to dinner.
Yeah, it's time to get some dinner. But listen, guys, thank you for hanging out with us on this Friday.
Wait, hold on. Tim Gilliam, need to let us know where in person to watch party for the first FL Starship launch will be.
That would be good, right? So how about if we think about doing that when they do a Starship launch in Florida, because I'm 3 hours away, maybe we'll rent like a hotel and get maybe we'll get I don't know. We'll have to figure something out.
We've talked about this before.
That
We've
would be
never done
awesome.
anything,
and
but
we'll just do like a get together.
Now we have a bigger following, so it would be like good.
Yeah.
We talked about this like way back in the beginning.
So if anyone lives out there near
Yes,
near,
we'll be watching Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll have to do that.
That's going to be our date tonight. In
If
case.
someone lives up there in Daytona area up there on the space coast, let me know if there's like a certain area or a certain location that would be kind of cool to be able to do a meetup. I don't know how many people would meet up in Florida, so it could be 5 of us, it could be 50, it could be more. Who knows? There's currently about 170 some thousand of us now in the community. 176,000, I think. There's a bunch of us now, and just it's such a great crew. I mean, it's a blessing, honestly. I watch so many channels because this is what I do.
Mario Bidet said, "I will drive from Missouri to join the party." And
Would that be
Crazy
awesome?
Three Immortals said, "I'm on the west coast of Florida. I'm all in."
There you are. There you go.
I
They're
love it.
nice and close. It would just be so cool, right? It would be really, really cool to see the first one and be able to do it live with you guys. So broadcast live with all of us there. That would be that'd be awesome. So anyways,
we'll
get some ideas put together.
Too Tall Steve said, "Go feed your wife so she will come back."
Yeah, if not, she's not. I'm gonna be in the doghouse tonight. Be like, you made me stand there for hours, and I'm starving.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyways, thanks
Mario
a lot.
Bidet said, "Thank you for all your information that you provide over the years."
I appreciate that. Definitely go take a look at the Truth Engine. Go over to JCristina.com/shop if you want to see some merch. Pick up a cup. Pick up a Rockets or Hard hat. Or
You guys, I know it's, so Joe said really quick, it's not super big, but it's big enough for a decent cup of coffee. I love it. It's cute.
It's cool.
It's
So,
aluminum.
if you guys don't know, it's hard to see. Maybe I can do this up close. Just so you guys know, this, if you looked in up close, detailed, this whole dark area where it says hard, these are all tiles, right? These are all of the tiles from the ship. And then the rockets is actually the metal of the ship. So these are all tiles and this is metal, just so you know. Anyways, you can't see it on camera like this, but so it's just fun. It's just fun. I enjoy it. So anyways, guys, thanks a lot. Appreciate you. Have a blessed weekend. Spend time with the family. Give them all hugs and stuff.
Yes.
And we will see you on Monday with a
Have a great
live.
weekend. Have a great Sunday, and have a great week. And we will hopefully see you next Friday.
Absolutely.
All
Free
right.
Speech Friday.
Don't forget
next
about
week.
checking out your shares and all the things.
Yeah, do all this stuff. We'll see you later. Take care, guys.
Oh, the camera's not switching. They can't see.
They can't see what?
You didn't
They didn't
switch?
see it. Okay, let me see. What? Oh, it didn't switch. Hold on. Okay, sorry.
Jesus.
Let me do it real quick. Here we go. There. Did it? There. Oh, we are there. Hold on. Let me see. Are we tight?
It's because we don't have food. We're done.
No. It's because of this. This is what I get. This is what I get on my. This is what I get right.
Joe can't multitask, so I have to give him pictures. He can't read and
Joe,
talk.
I'm starving. I'm starving.
Bye.
Anyways, so this right here is the tiles. You can't see them, obviously, and this is all right, whatever. So I'm out.
Oh, wait, where is it? Gallant Girl. See my nails.
No, I'm not showing the nails.
Yes,
Okay, here.
show the nails.
There's the nails.
Gallant Girl, where are they? Wait, it's not working.
There they
it
are.
is. Okay.
Oh
All
my
right.
God. All
Bye.
Take care, guys. Have a good weekend.